There we go. Okay. Hey everyone. Welcome to my cafe. We had technical problems with my guest today, so this is very quiet because I'm using the wrong mic. Hold on, one sec. We're gonna go back to the standby screen and switch out mics. Is it working now? There we go. Okay. Hey everyone. Welcome to my cafe again. I got the right mic on this time. That one's just a little bit too quiet, I think, for streaming and coming in clearly. So our guest, King, see, I was gonna ask him how to pronounce his name so I didn't pronounce it wrong. King Cadaver couldn't join us, so he had some technical problems. So I hope you will bear with me as I wait for my other guest to join us. He's just getting online. He probably wasn't, no one's expected to be a guest, so how's everyone this morning? I know that Miss Creepy Tails is playing Phasmophobia with Stormy. Hey, Miss Creepy Tails, I know you're here. You're just gonna go fight some ghost, because you ain't afraid of no ghost. Unlike me, who screams in a corner. Because I'm afraid of ghosts. They're scary. Ghosts are scary. And I also saw Silver Threads. And that was it. That was all I saw in the live chat. So hello, King of Canadian Hill. Well, at least we have one king in the house. I mean, there was going to be two originally. And don't forget to hit that like button, guys. It's pretty, and it likes to be here. Hello, Stormy. Please don't die from ghosts. I mean, I know you really are really good at dying from ghosts, but please try not to. There you are. Okay. Hair razor will be with it in just a second. Sorry, guys. And I'm having problems just talking on this thing by myself. It's just not something I'm very good at, which I realized very quickly, thank goodness. Otherwise, this stream would have went crashy to birdie pretty fast originally, so. 42 definitely needs guests. It helps me keep the conversation going. Otherwise, I just feel like I'm talking to myself. Which, to be fair, I do talk to myself, but that's a conversation for me and my therapist. Anyways, that's a joke. Not about the talking about myself part. So I hope you guys are doing okay. Okay, let's try this. Hello. I put you on mute for a sec. They can only hear me, so yeah. Yes, I can. Perfect. I will put you to being live. Everyone else will just hear my side of the conversation, so here we go. Okay. Welcome, hair raising, or as PA calls you, HR.
HR, yes. Yeah, like I said, HR makes me feel like I don't know, like I'm getting called to HR or something. HR?
Don't worry, you're just human resources. It's fine. Don't worry about it. Luckily, because you have been on one of the other streams I am in, because I'm in so many of them, I have your avatar somewhere around here.
Oh, nice.
So, though it's quite big comparatively, apparently. No one can see it quite yet. I have it invisible.
Yeah, I like that one you did as well. That drawing.
It's just your picture, but in my drawing.
Well, it gives it this sort of different feel to it, if that makes sense.
Yes, it does. It's like, no,
yeah, where I was
let me tell you a story, please. I don't even have it on my computer. But I think, hold on. I sent it to you, so therefore, I didn't send you the colored one, so I will send you the colored one.
Oh, there's a colored one.
Yes. I'm so bad at like showing the drawing and then forgetting to like finish, like send you the end.
Yeah, I thought it was just a black and white or outline. Huh.
Nope.
And there's this finished version out there that I didn't even know about, my own avatar.
That one, right there. That's how I finished it.
Okay, let me pull this up, see if I can take a look at it. Did you send it?
Yeah, I think I sent it to you. Please tell me I sent it to you.
Oh.
Yeah, I did. Yes.
Oh, okay.
It's not like super duper colored. It's just a little shading, and because it's a ghost.
Yeah, no. Right.
It needs to be white.
Nice.
One of my roommates was like, you know what the scary part is? He used the good sheets to make the ghost costume. I'm like, not the 300 count cotton. Egyptian cotton.
Yeah, I've always wondered what it feels like to have nice, those really nice type of sheets. Can you tell the difference?
I got no clue. I couldn't tell you.
Yeah. So are you starting to get into to drawing more?
Yeah, I've been. Yeah. The last thing I draw was the one that is the animals of Miss Creepy Tales and Lady Spooktoria.
I saw those. Yeah.
And Raven. Because Raven is
very nice.
a bird. So there was no animal equivalent of him because he is the animal equivalent of him.
Yeah, I saw that.
We're just like,
very nice.
What do I draw for the...
his avatar is already his spirit animal.
He is. Raven is his spirit animal.
Yeah, King of Canadian Hill said he has nice sheets, and it's like sleeping on a puffy cloud. Sounds wonderful.
This is a drawing. I put it on the screen. Just hold on. I'm gonna put it there, so you can kind of see it behind all the chats. There we go. So he asked how the live thing worked and why it didn't work for some. So some people's internet is not very good, and the problem was that King his internet was being too slow and it wouldn't send through his audio. So.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so we're gonna try next Saturday with him to see.
Okay. Yeah. I don't think I've gotten a chance to speak to or interact with I think it's King Cadaver, right? A lot or at all, I think so. Okay, so it'll be interesting to kind of hear him. Cadaver. Yes.
Yeah, he's more of a gaming channel, but he wanted to be on my coffee stream, so I said yes. Anyone can be on my coffee stream. If you want to be on here, sure.
Yeah, I didn't know I was gonna be on here, and look at me now.
It wasn't originally the plan, but it worked. I'm like, I don't want to be by myself. Last time I was by myself, I bombed it. I can't do it. It's just not.
Well, yeah. Well, I was telling somebody else that I kind of have a better interaction with it when it's like a one-on-one with somebody. If it's more than two people, then I just kind of get a little you know,
Overwhelmed.
yeah, and it's just like the conversation kind of goes everywhere, and I'm not sure yeah, kind of where to take it. So I think I do better on one-on-ones.
Yeah, and I guess I started doing what Match Chats does before Match Chats started doing it, because this is not an interview. This is just two people talking.
Right.
That's all this is supposed to be. So.
Yeah, it's more just relaxed, very chill type of conversation.
It's just having fun, having coffee or tea or whatever. Normally there is more planning, and you know about it before I
Yeah.
put you on.
That's okay. I had enough of an opportunity to get a carbonated water, so don't have coffee unfortunately, but I have my carbonated water.
My tea is stone cold, but I only made 1 cup. I didn't want a whole pot today. I didn't feel like it.
Silver said, HR, what's your favorite type of hair to raise? Not sure how to answer that, Silver.
No comment.
I'll pass on that question. I've been trying to.
Oops, sorry. Go ahead.
Oh, I was just gonna say I've been trying to get more into tea as well. I just haven't been able to.
Some people, it's not for them. I've liked tea since I was a kid, so I don't enjoy coffee. I can drink coffee. Also, if you hear snoring, I'm sorry, my husband's still asleep, and my computer's in the bedroom.
Okay, no, nothing's coming through.
That's okay, he's no longer sleeping, so he's quite awake now. Literally, as I said that, he woke up. He must have heard me. You were working. Yeah, fair, you need to get up. He works in a half an hour. So.
Yeah, Silver said more than 2 people, and I just sit there until someone talks to me directly. Yeah, you know what, Silver? I'm kind of the same way. I don't know. I guess, yeah, I really like, one-on-one conversations. I feel like I'm able to have a really good back and forth with somebody, but if it's more than 2 people involved, yeah, it is a little more difficult to me. I think for some people, they just kind of, they thrive in that type of environment, but it's not where I work best.
Yeah, some people love lots of people and keeping up with lots of conversations, and some people, no, it's too much work. And I get that. That's a lot of work.
Yeah, and it becomes, especially if you're not an extrovert, it does become very difficult. It's a lot of work, and it's just like, whew, like you said, overwhelming a bit.
Yes, no, I get that. It depends on who I'm talking with. So I can talk to lots of people if I know most of them, and only one person's new or 2. But if it's all new people, no, I'm just like, oh my god, there's too many people. Go away. Stop it. Go away. But I also work in retail, so I have to be able to deal with talking to multiple people.
Yeah, that is tough customer service or doing anything like that. Especially when you don't like dealing with people too much.
Yeah, luckily I'm not actually the person who deals with the customers anymore.
Okay.
I just clean shelves and make them look pretty. But I still have to talk to customers and deal with them and tell them where things are and stuff. And then I have to, talk with my team and keep everything going. So, but luckily, like most of the people I work with, I know really well now. So
good.
That makes
sense. Good. When I was younger, I used to work at Wendy's, and there was this day when I want to say it was tax-free weekend, and we just had this long line of people that came into the store all of a sudden, and I think it was like my first month there, and the line stretched all the way out to the door. and as I was taking people's orders, things just started to get chaotic and confused, and I lost track of whose order belonged to who.
Oh no.
People were getting upset. Everybody just wanted to leave, and there was this point I hit where I just went into the freezer, and I just kind of to get some. I think it was to get some fries or something, and I just kind of stood in there for a while, and I just had to, get my composure again because it was just so stressful. But I think at that point I was like, okay, customer service or dealing with the public directly, it's a little bit tough, especially when you're dealing with people who just don't really respect what you do, and they're just kind of like, it's tough. It's tough working in that sort of industry.
I remember my days back at Wendy's. I've worked a lot of jobs. And I'm like, oh god. Yep.
Yeah, I did that. I know what you're talking about.
Tears would be streaming down my eyes. I'm like, I don't want to do this anymore. I don't want to play adult anymore. I want to go back to being a kid. Can you take my adult card back, please? Let's see.
Oh man.
Just, oh my god. Yeah, no, I worked at Wendy's twice. Once was only for like a month and a half, but the first time I worked, I was there for 6 or 8 months or something. It was a pretty good job, but yeah, it gets stressful. And you always have to have that smile on your face. And one time I forgot to give someone back her 10 cents that I owed them.
Uh-oh.
Yep. They got really mad. I forgot. We were very busy, and I just forgot. And she's like, "You forgot to give me my change." And I was like, "Oh, I'm so sorry." So I have to get my manager to open it. Realize her change was like 10 or 20 cents or something. I was like, it was nothing very much. And I'm like, "Woman, you suck."
Yeah. I think because at least when I was there, there wasn't an automated. I don't think it told you. If I'm remembering correctly, it didn't tell you exactly what the change was supposed to be. No, I'm sorry. It did, but there were times when the customer would give you like a like a 20 when it was 8. Well, there were certain situations in which you had to do quick math in your head. That's what I remember. And sometimes I was like, okay, let me get this straight. So
Yeah.
I wouldn't get it 100%, all the time, because they're like, okay, my change, and you have to kind of do it quickly. So it was very easy to not give the correct change back. But yeah, no.
Well,
yeah.
Especially if you typed it in wrong. So they gave you $20 and let's say 40 cents. Well, you typed in the 20 and forgot the 40 cents.
Yeah.
So you gotta remember, oh shoot, there was a 40 cents. And customer service is most people's kryptonite. It's the Karen's superpower.
Yeah. Yes.
My least, like, you can tell that I've worked customer service most of my life because I'm very polite and understanding. Like, people forget stuff, and I get that. So I'm always like, okay, you forgot a thing of fries or whatever. Like,
Yeah.
I'm not angry. I'm like, hey, you just forgot this. Could you just make sure I get that, please? And I'm like, I'm always very polite. And same with, like, when I go grocery shopping and stuff, I'm like, these people are people. They are not having a good day. I try to be as nice as I can, but even I like come in and I'm not in a very good mood, but I'll just be like, hi, and then, just get my stuff done and leave. But I just try not to be rude about it.
Yeah. There's no a point to that. I mean, yeah, people make mistakes, and I think if you've ever worked in that sort of job before, then you kind of have a little bit more of an understanding towards those people.
Yes, exactly. I've only been rude a couple times. That's more because they've been rude to me first, and I'm like, oh, no, that's against, no.
Yeah. Yeah, but it's not that big of a deal to just go, oh, okay, well, like you said, you forgot this, or, if they say, oh, I'm sorry, yeah, that's fine, not a problem. What's the big deal?
Yeah, exactly. That's why they also tell you to double check your meal before you leave, because everyone's human. They forget things all the time. I've had people check stuff, like I check my food in the drive-thru every time because I'd rather go, oh, look, I'm missing some fries or whatever, and go, hey, you missed the fries, and then go home where I'm going to now be angry because you forgot the fries.
Hmm.
because I got all the way home and I'm not coming out to get the fries. So, but that's also my fault for not double checking.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah. I think double checking just basically something you should do in every industry, everything that you do.
Yes, because we're human. We're gonna we're gonna make
Exactly.
mistakes.
Yeah. Silver said that customer service has done the opposite to me. It's made me more jaded towards customers and more polite to cashiers.
Yeah.
A lot of customers treat you like second-class citizens. Yeah. Yeah. Like I said,
Yes.
you also kind of agree with that.
Oh yeah.
42.
Oh, completely. Like I've been treated like I'm not human somehow. And I'm like, excuse me.
Yeah. Yeah, like unless you and I don't know, sometimes I think people aren't doing it to be jerks. I think you kind of, I don't know, they forget and they just think you're kind of I don't know, like just this, you're part of, I don't know, they just forget that you're human or something, and they
it's
just don't show
also
that
how
level of
their
respect.
parents raise them thinking that, anyone serving you is below you. And it's a very old way of thinking. An old, yeah, it's just an old way, because a lot of, back in the old days, the poor were seen as not human. They were subhuman somehow. I'm like, they're the ones making your food, they're the ones farming. How are they not human?
Yeah, yeah, I think in some instances, yeah, that's unfortunately the case too. I choose to think, I choose to think very positively, and give them kind of the benefit of the doubt. But man, when somebody treats you poorly, it's not easy to just shake it off.
And you're also like, oh yeah, I don't want to do anything for you anymore.
Yeah, and you got to keep that smile on your face.
Oh no, I've lost it a few times.
Oh.
Like, can I have ketchup? You forgot the ketchup. Well, our policy is we only give ketchup when you ask for it. Like, I remember when I first started, we just gave ketchup to everyone. And they've kind of gone back to that way because with COVID, they want the least amount of transaction as possible. So they just throw the ketchup in now. But, like, they started just, you have to ask for the ketchup before they'll put it in the bag. So, yeah, you forgot the ketchup. No, you need to ask me for ketchup. But yeah, no, they've gone back to the old ways of just throw it in the goddamn bag and don't deal with it.
Yeah, King of the Canadian Hill said, yeah, I tend to treat the peeps that work or serve something for me with kindness and respect. Yeah, that's really all it's about, just treat them with respect, and especially, just like they always say, they're the people dealing with your food, so, just,
Yep. Yeah, that's the other thing. It's like, yes, treat the server who has to go grab your food
common sense
from a spot that you can't see and bring it to your table and expect her not to do something to it.
Yeah, because I'd be very paranoid if I I'd be like, they're getting my food. Did they do anything to it?
Yeah, I'd make sure like 1 or 2 hairs from my very long head somehow got into that food. I wouldn't do anything else, but hair can ruin a meal.
Yeah. Silver says, I love the front of your logo, HR. Has a Nickelodeon vibe. I never thought about that. Nickelodeon vibe. But I did kind of go with it because it was a little more friendly looking, if that makes sense. A little more family friendly. Not that my content is supposed to be family friendly, but just kind of accessible to all. And King of the Canadian Hill said the color contrast with this logo is tight yellow, black, and white works well. Oh, good to hear that. Okay, yeah, because I was telling 42 that I didn't feel too confident about my avatar compared to everybody else's, because everybody else's is just, mine's more like a logo rather than an actual avatar. So I didn't feel too great about that.
Everyone's like, I went with chibi things. My characters are chibis. They're cute.
Yeah, you're.
I just like chibi. There was no forethought. I like chibi. I'm having chibi avatars.
I've never heard that term before. Chibi?
Yeah, it's big head, little body. It's a Japanese art style. It makes them look kitty.
Oh, okay. Oh, well, they definitely are. Yeah.
Which is why when Bard was making my avatar for the show we're doing tomorrow, he was like, I keep thinking you're shorter than me, and I keep forgetting that you're actually in real life the same height as me because your characters are all chibis. I'm actually 5'10" in real life. Like I'm quite tall.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I'm just under 5'11". I think it's like 5'10" and 3/4. So I'm very proud of that 3/4.
I got average height for a man, so that's great. Which actually apparently the average height for men is now 5'8", 5'9". So I'm above average now.
Yeah, I was gonna say. I think that's the last I saw. It was like 5'8". I think was the average height for a man. What is the average height for a woman?
5'6".
5'6". Okay, so not that big of a difference there.
No, there isn't.
Okay.
But yeah, no, it's quite astounding that when I was little, I wanted to be 5'10". That's how tall I wanted to be when I grew up.
Oh, interesting.
I got it somehow.
Oh. And what made you? How did you decide on that when you were young?
No clue. Can't tell you. I really don't know. I just remember at a lot of the times I was like, I wish I was 5'10". I want to be 5'10" when I grow up. So yeah, I'm quite tall. I'm taller than a lot of my friends. Like Silver is 5'8". I feel like a short person, except he's average height for a male, so he's not.
Yeah.
My husband's 6'2", so.
16. Okay. Yeah. No. I mean, I know a lot of people. A lot of women who are my height. But I don't think I've ever thought like, oh, she's tall. I think usually for me, if it's somebody taller than me, like it has to be quite a bit taller where it's noticeable. Then I'm like, oh, whoa, this person's tall. Otherwise, it just doesn't register.
Yeah, realistically speaking, if a woman is your height, she's tall.
Yeah.
King Cadaver is 6'1".
I've never thought about it really that way, but I know a lot of people do. And then I guess what if she wears heels also?
Yeah, a lot of women about my height don't wear heels. I don't really wear heels all that often anymore. I'm too tall. Every once in a while I will, but every once in a while I will, and then I'll be the height of my husband. So
Yeah, I was gonna say since he's a bit taller, I guess you can kind of get away with that.
Yes, but yeah, it's quite funny.
Well,
Silver, to be fair, it's an average, so there's men that are going to be shorter than you, and there's men that are going to be taller than you, but you are about average height. Yes, of course you're going to see men taller than you.
And it's probably that he's focusing on the men that are taller and not really on the ones that are shorter.
Yes, exactly. He's only noticing the guys that are taller than him because he has to look up at them.
Yeah, I mean, at what point do you stop doing that? I mean, at what point do you not notice it? I guess you always notice it if somebody's significantly taller, or
I work with a couple of guys that are about 6'6". Like they're quite tall. Yeah. Yeah, no.
Wow.
There's one that he's fairly actually he's one of my subscribers too, which is kind of funny.
Oh.
Well, I work with him. I was like, I do YouTube. He's like, give me your YouTube channel, I'll subscribe. I've got a few coworkers that are actually subscribers, and I'm like, oh yeah. I appreciate every single one of them. Most of them don't really watch my content all that often though, which is sad.
Do you ever have to think about it like, oh, can't say anything or don't say anything at all?
I don't name names ever, so whatever, right? And I mean, if they come and go, well, I didn't appreciate what you said, like, but I didn't name names, so
okay.
But yeah, he's super tall, and then there's another guy, and he's fairly young too, and he's quite tall, and I'm just like, Why are they feeding the younger generation and stop feeding them?
Yeah, Silver said, don't call out his confirmation bias.
Too bad. Egg on my face. We all are biased in some way.
Yeah, exactly. So what does this mean? I noticed how some peeps and items are too tiny for me. Does that mean he's too big?
Well, he's 6'1",
Like
right? So he would notice that some things are going to be too small for him. My biggest problem is finding clothes. It's so... They're either way too big or way too small. Like, there is no in between. I don't find pants that fit me right, ever. Like, I given up. If they fit me in the hips, but they go above my ankles, I don't care anymore. I'm like, well, at least they fit my hips.
But if you get pants that are like, you know, I guess for your height, so I don't get it. Isn't it proportional? Like, you know, aren't they supposed to be?
Don't come in like that. So men's have hip measurements and leg measurements. Women's don't.
What?
It's just size 18, size 20, size 14. That's it.
Why?
Don't ask me. And half the time they don't have pockets.
Yeah, I've heard the pockets thing. That doesn't make sense.
Yeah, I have 2 pairs of pants that show that they have pockets in the front. They don't have pockets. There's nothing there. It's just for show. And I didn't realize that when I bought them because you can't try pants on right now. So I'm just like, I get them home and I'm like, oh yeah, they fit my hips, blah, blah, blah. And I never thought about checking the pockets until I got to work the next day and I'd already taken off the tags and I went, they don't have pockets in the front. Oh my God. They have pockets in the back at least.
But surely you have women in the industry who could be like, hey, we need to know, you know, we need to be able to tell the size of the length as well as the size of the at the waist, and we need these real pockets. So what's going on?
It's because if you have pockets at the front, it'll be unseemly because people will see that you have things in the pockets. I don't care. I work for a living.
Yeah, you need. Wow, I can't. Yeah, I can't. I don't know how I would do that. If my pants didn't have pockets and I had to carry around, I guess something for my phone and for all these things. Yeah, that'd be very inconvenient.
Luckily, I have a pouch for work. So.
Oh, okay. You can put your stuff in there. I was gonna say. So where do you end up putting all your things in regular? You know,
my cell phone always goes in my back left pocket. If it's in the right, it feels wrong. And then I used to have my earbuds in my front left pocket, but I can't do that, so that's just gone into my hoodie now. And then I have my pouch hanging off of me, which has my work phone in it, a pen, 2 pens and a felt marker, my knife, and my scraper, and yeah.
The struggle is real out here.
Oh my God. I mean, I work for a living, and I didn't even think about it. I was just like, oh, God damn it. These don't have pockets. And then I realized I bought 2 like that. I was like, no, I bought 2. And they fit. They're actually very comfy jeans. Oh. They fit me very well.
So did you keep them?
Yes, I still have them. Of course I do. I paid money for them. I can't return them. Then again, I paid less than $10 for them. So.
Oh, okay.
I buy secondhand pants. I go to I don't know if they have them in the States, but it's called Value Village, and I just buy pre-worn pants because one, pants are expensive. I can actually get a decent pair, a decent brand, and not pay $100 for them. And you know what? If I rip them or get paint on them or wreck them in any way, because my job is a very physical job, I'm not going to cry over it because I think the most I ever paid for a pair of jeans there was $16.
Not bad. Yeah, pants are really expensive.
Yes.
I hate trying them on and just the whole process of buying pants. I think if I find a good pair of pants that I like, I'll just buy 2 or 3 pairs of them because man, it is tough. And we're able to tell the length and the obviously where it's at the waist and all that, but still it's Yeah, that hope. And now, just like you said, I just bought some pants recently, and I found out I couldn't try them on also, and I
Yep.
was like, so what? I mean, I have to take it all the way home, buy them, take them home, try them on. If they don't fit, return them.
Yes.
Uh, yeah.
And then they have to go put them in quarantine for 2 or 3 days before they can put them back on the shelf.
Oh, is that what they do?
Yeah.
Interesting.
Because if you had COVID doesn't stay on materials for very long. So if they put them in quarantine for about 2 to 3 days, even if you had it, you won't transfer it anymore that way. Yeah, there's a lot of safety precautions they have to. And every item has its own shelf life on how long COVID can stay on it. But about 2 to 3 days will be enough to make sure it's not on there anymore. But yeah, no. I used to buy secondhand parts, but taking 1,000 years to find the right... I think he meant pants. But it takes 1,000 years to find the right size, so I said F it and started buying new pairs, just very slowly so I can afford it. I just go and grab 6 pairs that are approximately my size, go into this changing room, try them on. Normally I walk out with only 2 that fit me properly.
Yep. Yeah, it sounds like we all do that. Yeah. Huh.
I tried to get males pants, but your crotch is a little bit bigger than what females area, so it's not as comfortable for me. But I mean, I never have to worry if there would be pockets.
Yeah, that's true. That's a good pants hack.
That was the problem. I've worn male pants and they don't fit right because of course I'm not a male. They are designed a little bit differently.
Okay, and you tried different sizes in men's pants as well?
Well, it's always the crotch area that doesn't feel right.
Okay.
So it's because they're male pants that they just don't fit right there. I mean, I've been wearing female pants my whole life. There's a certain fit that I'm used to at this point.
Still, it sounds like they can make some very easy adjustments to them, and sounds like a lot of women would like them. But
I would definitely like that. I would like just even say male style pants, but for females. I should go into a clothing making business. God no.
Yeah, Silver said he's worn women's pants, and the lack of pockets is goddamn criminal.
It really is.
Yep, that's what it sounded like. Yeah, I used to watch those shows, like, what were they called? The Project Runway, and I don't know if you've ever watched them, but they're usually, designing their own clothing, and they're always mentioning the pockets that they've had.
Yeah. Well, because so they somehow have it in their head that women find pockets unseemly. That pockets, the front ones at least, will, cause you to not look right. And I'm like, I don't care how I look. I need to freaking work. Why does it matter that I'm unseemly, but yet the guy can be wearing have his pockets all full, but it's not a big deal? Why?
Yeah, and you so there's clearly a market out there for that, So surely, I mean, because that's what they care about, right? Is making money. So surely they see the demand there, but but I guess it just hasn't reached that point.
Most likely, if I bought jeans from Mark's work warehouse, I probably wouldn't have this problem because they are made for working people. It's in the name. But I've never. The problem is, it's just like I think their pants are like $60 to $100, and just like, or I could go to Valley Village where I'm buying secondhand clothes, so they've already gone through a lifetime for someone, so they're probably out of fashion. Like I care, or they don't fit the person anymore. Because I've either grown out of pants, or I just didn't find that the fit was quite right anymore, and I'll donate flat out because I'm like, why waste something and I have a pair of jeans that I bought from them that don't fit me properly during this COVID time because and then I realized after a few wears of it doesn't fit me right. I'm like, oh, okay. But yeah, so it's a problem. Like I'm really gonna look forward to the day when I can try my pants on again.
Yeah, that's, yeah, that's all we want. We just want to be able to try on our pants before we buy them.
That's what I do. Jeans are at Mark's number 34 for size. Boom, I'm done. Jerk. He goes to Mark's work house. Yeah, he goes to Mark's as well. We all just Mark's because it's a big
Mark's, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know if they have them here. I haven't heard of them.
They might be just a Canadian company.
Oh, okay.
I want to hear. I want to have my own pocket dimensions.
Yeah, customizable jeans. That'd be awesome. How deep do you want your pockets?
He's talking about a pocket dimension. So
what's a pocket?
It's hard to explain. It's like a specific part of space. It's a little small piece of space in space. That's why it's called a pocket.
Is that little pocket within your pocket?
No, that's actually meant. No. We're talking about. He's talking about space and time stuff. He's not talking about anything about pants. The little tiny pocket was for your watch. That's what that's there for.
Oh,
yeah,
I never knew that.
It's for your pocket watch. It was the pocket for your watch, so it wouldn't get all wrecked. That's why it got its own pocket, because you would have like nuts and bolts or whatever in your pockets. So your really nice expensive pocket watches, because they were very expensive back in the day. They would get all scratched up, so they made a separate pocket so they would be protected, because it was an investment. It was, you were probably only going to buy one pocket watch your whole entire life. It's a dimension within a dimension, is what he says. Yeah, that explains it better than what I was doing. That's a pocket dimension. Yeah, no, actually, my husband has 2 pocket watches because he always wanted one, so I bought him 2 different kinds.
Yeah, I've always been drawn to them. I've never owned one, but I've always looked at them and gone, they look kind of cool.
They are. He doesn't really use them, but they are pretty.
Yeah.
I think they both need batteries at this point. I think they both died, but yeah, I like exactly like the Tartarus. Yes, the Tartarus would have been a pocket dimension because it was bigger on the inside, and the only reason it can be bigger on the inside is because it was its own dimension. I love Doctor Who.
Okay.
I miss Doctor Who.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. My mind is now okay. Gotcha.
You know your mind's done changed over to what Silver leaped and bound to.
Yeah. So I was stuck on pants, and I was okay.
Yes, but it's just funny that I actually can tell you what that little pocket was for.
I know. That's another thing I was gonna say. How do you know that? How do you know that? And I don't know that.
I watch a lot of random stuff on YouTube. But I knew like that one made perfect sense. There's some things I've watched, I'm like, that doesn't make sense. That might be what you can use it for, but yeah. So that one does, because jeans have been around for. Levi was the first jeans ever, and they've been around since the 1800s. So that'd be when pocket watches were a thing, and they were made for working people. So yeah, no, that made perfect sense that you would want to make sure your pocket watch wasn't wrecked.
And so for the Levi's, I did hear this thing where I think it was the the creator of the Levi's jeans. I think it was Levi's, where he said, you're not supposed to wash your pants, and you're supposed to actually just like every so often put them in the freezer to get them kind of like, I guess, as a way to kill the germs. But he never washed his pants. Did you ever hear that?
I've heard about that. I don't know who said it. To me, that's disgusting, because I'm a sloppy person. I drop food on myself all the time and drinks. I'm going to wash my clothes. They're going to look disgusting if I don't wash them. So
yeah, that's hard to imagine.
Yeah, I've heard of people never like washing their jeans like once a year, and I'm like, ugh. And they'll put them in the freezer, and I'm like, nope,
that's way too. There's too much space. Yeah, a whole year. That's too much. That is too much. I think like
you just once a week they would throw them in the freezer to kill everything. I'm like, oh nope, I'm good. Nope. I'm going to wash my jeans, thank you very much, with this modern technology. Also, the reason why there's little pieces of metal was because that's all the parts of the jeans that would rip the fastest. So that was to there's a word for it, but it's to make it so they won't tear as easy. It's just to fix the small flaw. So that's why all your pockets have them normally, and little, like, they're in a kind of a weird spot. It was to reinforce them so they wouldn't break. Reinforce. I knew that would come to me.
King of Canadian Hill said, I'm in the jeans wash every few months. Yeah, I mean, I guess, everybody just has their own, whatever they feel comfortable with. But even putting them in the freezer is like, I feel a little, I don't know, having them there so close to your food, even that's just like, oh, I don't know, I don't feel too comfortable with that.
Most of your food's wrapped, though. The jeans isn't going to do anything to that.
Yeah, but just the thought of it, though, you're putting it in your freezer with, I mean, yeah, it's, I see what you're saying. It's just the thought of it. I just don't feel comfortable with it. And welcome, Rando.
Hey, Rando. It's okay that you're
just
late.
In time.
Don't worry. My original guest had technical problems, so I have a new guest.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm sure people are coming in going, cafe with King Cadaver. Whose logo is that?
That one says hair-raising narratives. What the heck is going on here?
What is going on? Yeah.
I mean, I expected sooner or later I'd have a guest that would have technical problems, so. But.
Okay.
I'm really
that's always
not by myself. I was just like, oh my god, I'm by myself. This is gonna be horrible. Oh no.
Yeah. Well, thanks. Yeah. Thanks for having me on. I appreciate it.
You're welcome. I'm not anything. I'm very good at being on the fly. I was like, could talk Raven probably into joining me again, but I don't want to do that. I would want someone new. Let's see who's in the chat.
Silver said, King Cadaver is going through an identity crisis. Yep, I feel you, King Cadaver. I think we all kind of go through those.
Well, he changed his name a few times actually recently. Like
what?
I forget what else his name was, but his YouTube channel was called something else for a while that started with a Y, I think, and then he's finally picked. I think he's finally picked the name that he wanted. So.
Oh, good. Okay, he reached his point. He's like, okay, this is what I want my channel to be.
Yes, and actually I was talking to him while he was trying to figure it out, so. He went with Cadaver first, and then he put King Cadaver, and then he went back to Cadaver, and he's like, no, I like King Cadaver better. I was like, okay. You do you, boo.
Okay. Yeah,
like,
exactly.
I'm not the one to help you. I took my screen name and threw reads at the end. I'm not very creative.
I remember when you told me about the 242, and my mind was like, oh my god, really?
Yeah, well,
that's such a fascinating thing for me to learn.
My name's been 242 since I was like 7 or 8 years old. So I've had this username my whole life. So
just seemed natural then.
I don't think he's Corpse Fathom. I think he's someone else.
Ah, interesting.
I think Corpse Phantom is someone else. I think King is a sweet name. Of course you would.
King. Yeah. Yeah, he said, watch her explain her name to people always amuses me. Like the explanation, like the way she explains it, or the actual explanation of the origins of the name.
Yeah, which one are you talking about? Like the reason that there's 3 people, or the way that I originally got 242? Because there's 2 different stories.
Yeah. Interesting.
Also, apparently, King is, I just lay my jeans on the chair or floor, definitely not going in the fridge. Looks at my pile of dirty clothes on the floor that my dog is laying on. I have no clue what you're talking about. Oh, now she's on the bed. She's like, how dare you call me out for laying on the dirty clothes? The people's confusion from the, okay, yeah. So he's talking about the 3 people. thing. It wasn't originally
Yeah.
supposed to be 3 people, but
Well, I think that.
originally
Yeah,
it
go
was
ahead.
supposed to be like my personalities, the 2 different personalities. And then it became 3 people. I was like, yeah, sure, let's do that.
Yeah, I think that video was kind of perfect. You just send them the link to that video that you sent me.
Yeah, just watch the first video. You'll be fine. It will explain everything. I also
Exactly.
want to expand on all 3 worlds. I want to create stories for it, like proper stories of how the worlds became the way they were.
Interesting.
Because it's just like one where the gods just came down and went, yeah, no. And then one where everyone's at war constantly, so why is that happening? And then I don't know how I would explain why 242's world's full of magic, but I have to figure that out. But hey, Domino.
Hello, Domino. I don't think I've seen Domino before.
They're here. I think it's a he. They've been in a lot of live streams in different places. I've seen them quite a bit.
Yeah, I think there's still a lot of people that I have yet to meet. So
there's a lot. There's a lot of people. There are a ton of people to meet still. Like,
yeah.
And there's always people coming into the horror narration group.
Yeah.
People leaving the horror narration group. So, hey, Fearsome. I wonder if that means Bard will show up sooner or later. Normally, if Fearsome shows up, Bard does too.
It's kind of like they're connected.
Yeah, they're really good friends, so.
Oh, okay, that explains it.
Yeah.
King said, hair raising is easy. He tells stories that are hair raising. Yep, that's pretty much it.
Pretty much.
Actually, yeah. I think it was I was trying to come up with something for, scary stories, and somebody suggested, well, why don't you just use different names for them? And so that's basically what it is: hair-raising narratives, scary stories.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not
as.
I don't think I've seen anyone else use it, so it works perfectly.
Yeah, not as exciting, but it works.
Your name doesn't need to be exciting. It needs to stand out.
Yes. Hopefully it does that.
I mean, Markiplier. Not exactly like an amazing name, but it's unique and it kind of stands out. Jacksepticeye, same thing. These are just people I know that are very big. I don't talk about the biggest gamer because I don't actually care for the biggest gamer. I don't watch him. I don't enjoy anything he does. Oh, and look, there's my original guest. Hello, King.
Hello, King. I hope I'm doing well as your replacement, King Cadaver.
The backup that was accidental. Yeah. Nothing is planned with 42. 42 does everything on the fly. I've gotten used to just calling myself 42 now.
42.
Everyone calls me 42, so.
Yeah, actually I do too. It just comes naturally.
Yeah.
42.
Yeah, so. But normally when I'm like when I say 40, like, don't let 42 bite, I'm talking about the character 42. So. It gets confusing. It's not my fault.
It does get a little. It does get a little confusing.
I mean, I was always referring to myself as 242, and then it just kind of gave up because everyone just calls me 42, and it's like, oh, that's actually a different
You're like, fine, I'll accept it.
It's a different character, but okay, it's fine. But I guess it kind of works anyways, like, don't let 42 bite. It's just like, well, am I talking about me or the character 42? You'll never know.
Okay. Now I see what Silver's talking about. Okay.
Yes. I didn't do it on purpose.
Yeah, Silver said, I listened to HR's videos and none of them were about hair. That's false advertising. Yeah, those videos got pulled off of YouTube, Silver, so that's the reason why you don't see them there.
Yeah, YouTube decided that they were a little too risque.
Oh, yeah. But you can find them on a separate website. I'll send you the link.
It's a porno. Is it just fans?
The true origins of how I got my name.
Pornhub. They'll
Yeah.
let anything on there. For the most part.
Yeah. Yeah, oh, okay. I guess King Cadaver and King of the Canadian Hill having a little complimentary back and forth about their names.
Yes, I expect so. And if you can't tell, King of Canadian Hill is Canadian. I just love that. I've got like 3 Canadians in here, so.
Nice. Oh, you're Canadian fans.
Yes. It was so funny the first time me and Silver ever talked, and he's like, yeah, so I'm Canadian. I was like, oh, you're fucking Canadian!
Are there very few Canadians that you've know on here as part of the community?
I've met more than I expected, to be honest. I didn't expect to find nearly as many Canadians, because I Mad Chatter's Canadian, Just Plain Creepy's Canadian, Adam, I call him Simp, but Adam's Canadian. Yeah, so I was just like, that's a lot more Canadians than I expected. And I know there's another one, but I can never remember their name.
Oh, interesting. Yeah, I assume that most people are just from the U.S. Most narrators.
I'm Canadian adjacent, says Fearsome, while you live in the States. Oh yes, I think Domino is Canadian as well.
Wow.
Yes, Just Plain Creepy is Canadian, Silver. Yep. Because when you're growing up in Canada, you hear all this thing about Americans all the time, like this American actor, blah, blah. And it's just really cool when you see a Canadian actor become big. Yeah. So there's quite a few. Like I watch they're not on like in our circle of things, but I watch Nerdy Crafter. She lives in Quebec, and I watch Simply Nail. I don't watch her as much as I used to, but Simply Nail Logical. She lives in Ottawa, Ontario, which is the capital of all of Canada, because she actually works for the government. I think she does statistics, I think is what she says she does.
Well, that's interesting.
But she's like, all the money she's made from YouTube has gone into the retirement thing, and she's like, yeah, she's really made a good amount of money on it. She doesn't do nails really anymore. She does other stuff.
What is the like the federal government in Canada called?
Federal.
Oh, it's just federal?
Yeah, provincial, federal, and territorial. Because we have the provinces and we have the territories, and then the federal runs everything.
Provinces, okay. So
provinces
your
are like
provinces states, okay, and territories are like cities.
States.
Okay, what are your cities? Just
cities.
Cities.
Yeah.
Okay.
That would be not local. There's another word for it. I can't remember. Town. There's laws, but there's laws that the city can come up with too. And yeah. Nova Scotia which is Canada's garbage pit. Well, I mean, we did put Silver there, so it's fair enough.
Is Silver Canadian?
Yes, he lives in Nova Scotia.
Oh, okay.
He lives on the East Coast. He lives so far east, he's past the east. He's an hour past Eastern Standard Time, which is weird to me. Then again, he doesn't live in Newfoundland, which is better because Newfoundland's time zone is negative 10.5. They are a half an hour off from everyone. Don't ask me why, and I would hate to live there.
That's interesting. Oh. Yeah, it sounds like it.
It's got like, if you watch the time, if you look at the time thing, there's like this little weird like time zone thing that kind of appears and just disappears.
Weird.
Newfoundland is it's a fishing town. Yeah, it's a fishing. Yeah, they were like they were like the last province to join.
Oh,
Canada.
a little small community then.
Oh god, it's a huge island. It's where all the
Oh,
fishermen live. Bunch of Irish moved there. They've got their own accent. A lot of the stereotypical accent for Canadians actually comes from Newfoundland. They speak their own language. It's very hard. Like, it is English, but it's such a strong accent. It's very hard to understand someone that comes straight from Newfoundland for a while.
Would you be able to mimic that accent
No.
for demonstration purposes?
Nope.
No, okay.
Although the people I know from Newfoundland have lived here for so long, they've gotten rid of their accent.
Oh, okay.
I think I only met one person who'd moved from Newfoundland 2 or 3 years ago, and his accent was pretty gone, but he had a slight one. But yeah, I don't actually know what I'm talking about. I suck at geography. I'm just saying shit. Apparently Silver can do it.
Huh, yeah, because I'm curious what it sounds like.
You can just look up Newfoundland. No, I can't do it. I will just end up doing like a Native American one by mistake.
Yeah, if you're truly Canadian, let's hear that accent.
I can fake a Canadian accent. That's about it. But it's not really a Newfie accent that I can do.
Look, they're even doing the accent now in the chat.
Oh, don't you know, eh? Tell me about it, eh? There you go. That's it. That's do it, you got it. I just did it. Shove off. That's as close as I can get.
Okay, so yeah, it is kind of what I imagined it would sound like. Yeah.
That's the Canadian accent. Like, I don't know anyone who talks like that, who isn't joking around. Yes, we do say a lot, but it's not every word like you kind of hear. Silver, yay! It's like when you want to put in a puff, like you want to like, kind of like bring more attention to something like, oh, didn't you know that Frank went down to the stream yesterday? Stuff like that.
Oh, so when you just said, didn't you know, like, is that really how you say it?
Didn't you know?
Oh, okay. So do you say, didn't you know, or didn't you know?
I think I was throwing more of a Canadian accent subconsciously because I was trying to, it's through the AN.
Okay.
But I do sometimes kind of go into a little bit of a Canadian thing, but this is just me talking right now. So she could be a Newfie. That's pretty good amount of Canadian accent here.
What's a Newfie?
Newfoundland. Newfies.
Oh, okay.
That's how we'll just refer to them as.
Yeah, I feel like such an outsider.
It's all good. You're not from Canada. You wouldn't know, like, you don't know all this stuff.
Well, yeah, it's the same thing. Like, I guess it's the same thing. Like from Texas, you know, a lot of people think you talk a certain way. Still.
Yes.
Like y'all, we don't say y'all all the time, but I do say it. Well, actually, I do say it all the time, but you know, not in the way that I guess you usually see it portrayed in the movies.
Yes, everything's put up a little bit. Good evening, Alternative Night, because he lives all the way in Australia.
Oh.
I finally remembered that and not thinking that he lives in England. I don't know why I kept thinking he lived in England. I don't know. I confuse myself sometimes. Him and Lady Spectaria live in Australia. Miss Creepy Tales lives in Thailand.
Mm-hmm.
I have to know this because they're so far ahead of me in times.
Yes, those I know. Yes.
Silver's accent is very obvious to me. Yeah, he does have a little bit of an accent, but he does live on the East Coast, so he would have more of an accent.
He says it sounds the same to him as American pronunciation.
It's like with him, it's the odd word. I apparently do the same thing. And Rando lives in the South, so y'all is required. It's the odd word, Silver, that you like. And it's not when you're narrating. You don't do it when you're narrating. You do it when you're just talking.
Yeah, you're just talking. Yeah, because I forgot who I was telling that. I was speaking to somebody. I was in Nevada, and I was talking to some people from Colorado, and I said, "What do y'all do up there?" or something like that, and they were going, "Do you really say that down there?" And I said, "What, y'all?" And I was trying to figure out what they said instead of y'all. Like, y'all, I mean, you have to use y'all. What do you say instead of y'all? You guys, you
Yeah.
people. It just seems so natural.
And you know what? I'm never talking to anyone ever again. That's overreacting, Silver. I'll make you talk to me. It's not like I don't speak with your Canadian accent anyways.
Yeah.
It's only odd word with Silver. And I apparently do the same thing. The odd word I say is very Canadian, apparently. And Raven's the one who told me. I was like, really?
Yeah, I'm gonna go back and watch some of your videos and some of Silver's videos and try to see if I can distinguish it.
I don't think when I narrate, I speak a little bit different. Like, it's still me, but I enunciate more, and I know that I project my voice a little bit. So I don't talk completely like me, and that's on purpose because I want to make sure you understand the story that I'm telling you. So, and it was also it's also speech therapy for me. So.
Right. So here in this live stream, you can kind of let your true, sound out a little bit more, right?
Yeah, exactly. Because I'm just talking.
Yeah, you're just.
Yeah, it's two different mindsets in my head. Like, this is just me talking to someone and having fun. I mean, I still am careful kind of what I say. Like, I try not to swear too much and stuff like that. But when I'm narrating, I'm trying to make sure that I'm getting the emotion across. I'm making sure that you can hear things clearly and you're able to understand what I'm saying. Especially since when I first started, like, it's gotten better. Even when I was normally talking, I would stumble over my words and have more problems than I do now. So I started YouTube to kind of help me with that problem. And it's translated to my actual speech too. I don't stumble. I don't, like, I still have problems. There's still like the stumble and stuff, but that's people and that's normal. But it's not to the same extent it used to be. Even my husband said my speech has gotten much better since I started doing YouTube. So
that's awesome.
Yes, it had worked.
Fearsome Hero says she has a combination of Kansas and Minnesota. I think Minnesota's accent. Minnesota. I think Minnesota talks kind of like this.
Oh, they're pretty close to Canadians.
Yeah.
Raven hates that he lives in Kansas, but he has a northern accent a lot of the time too. Because his family's from the north. Like,
it's very interesting. How far north?
Oh, just about to be in Canada, north.
Oh, okay.
Can't remember the state. Yeah, I can't remember.
Yeah, she said Minnesota. Yeah, it's very interesting. I like hearing people's, kind of it's interesting to hear people and the way they sound, the differences there, and I think it's very interesting. It gives everybody different personality.
Yeah, and Domino says, born and raised in Canada, but I have a bit of an Irish accent. Never been to Ireland though. But you know what? You might have been around a lot of Irish people. I mean, Canada. Oh, not just Canada. Canada, the States, we had a huge influx of Irish come in because of reasons, a few times. And like, that's a lot of Newfoundland is Irish people because they were used to fishing and stuff, so they went to fishing there. And then a lot of them came across. So there's a lot of, for Canada, it's a lot of British, French, and Irish. And I don't feel like a lot of Scottish, but there is Scottish here too. So
interesting.
And now, of course, we're getting much more variety now coming this way. But and the reason why accents formed was because you would stay in your small community, and that's why, like, if you go to England, and you're from England, you can tell by someone's English accent where exactly from the island they are, because they all have their own little dialects. It's a little bit different. So yes, you might have a British accent, but what British accent do you have? A lot of people don't
Yeah.
realize that. I've watched a lot of British TV.
Yeah, I guess kind of like just a Canadian or American accent. Just depends on what type of Canadian or American accent you have.
Yep, there's a little bit of variation. The West, where I'm from, isn't as huge difference. Like, each province doesn't have a huge difference because this was colonized a lot later. While the East, Ontario, which used to be Upper Canada, was self-isolated. Lower Canada, which is Quebec, was French, so they've got a lot of French accents there. And then Newfoundland had a lot of the Irish. Nova Scotia, I don't know very much about. And same with New Brunswick and stuff, and PEI, Prince Edward Island. But they have their own accents because you would live there and never leave. So as you would live and die there, so your dialects would kind of form with each other. And that same thing with the states. So, the 13 original colonies, each one of them have their own accent. I mean, a Brooklyn accent, a New York accent, right? They're very unique, but that's because you were born and raised there. So as you were talking with each other, you would get more of your own accents together. And that's why Louisiana has such a different accent to the rest of the South even.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they do.
But they were originally a French colony, and then they became American, and then, so, like, my husband's from Louisiana, originally. He was mostly raised in Florida and got rid of a lot of the accent, but when we went to go visit his family, I just sat there and just stared at him half the time to translate for me. Because they don't talk like most South people do. They slur their words and talk really fast, and they do like this. They got, like, I can't do it right off the top of my head, and I can't do it quite right, but when I do a Southern accent, it's closer to a Louisiana accent, because I've been around people from Louisiana. So, like, his mom we talked to, but she doesn't have a very strong Louisiana accent anymore, because she deals with the public all the time. But, like, she got a Southern accent, and it's pretty strong, but I can understand her, because she ain't slurring her words. You get me? No?
Oh. Interesting. Wow. Everyone, please make sure to join us every Saturday morning for more history by 242.
Random facts with 42.
Wow,
no, this is actually normal. I go through little random facts that I know.
It's pretty interesting, though. Huh.
I'm very interested in history and knowing things and learning and
yeah. Which is good.
Yeah.
Rando said he'll show off his Southern accent one of these days.
Yeah, I think he hides it a little bit when he's streaming. There's a little bit of a twang there, but not very much.
Interesting.
But it's very funny that when Raven said he's from Kansas, I was like, huh? Like, you don't have a Kansas accent. Like, but I get it now that his mom, fact-dropping queen of YouTube, apparently, like, he doesn't have, like, it is a more northern accent, but not with, like, twings to it, but it's a very American, Western accent that he has. It's I want to say default, like, not in a bad way. That, like, when you think an American accent, that's what he has. He doesn't have a Southern accent. He doesn't have a Northern accent. He has an American accent, which is not a bad thing. Like, like, when I heard you talking, I was like, I can't place your accent. But I think it's because yours is a little hybrid, too. And I think that's how things are happening now. Not everyone's we're so intertwined now that it's not like it used to be. And a lot of people are moving from one state to another. So it's not these small communities staying together anymore. Everyone's spraying out. Their accents are spreading out. So
yeah, and hopefully we don't lose all that, because I like hearing that different sound of some people.
I don't know if it'll ever fully go away, but I don't know, because it's also with what language you start with too. My boss is actually from I will say East Indian, but he says South Indian. He's from South India. And actually his accent, he's got an accent, but he's also, you can tell he's worked on getting rid of it too. He's worked very hard on being able, like, and of course English isn't his first language, and he didn't learn English till he was 20 something years old. It's astounding he learned English, especially that late. English is so hard to learn. It is one of the hardest languages ever because it is so mishmash, piece of garbage. I do not like English. She says, speaking in English. Because it doesn't follow its rules. Like,
I that's, yes, I hear a lot of people saying that and complaining about it and how difficult it is to learn it. So yes, that is very true.
I was born and raised to speak English, and I hate the language. But I'm also dyslexic. So I before E, except for C, except for weird, and all these other words, like, oh my god. But once I found out that English is 3 languages put together, it's Norse, it's Latin, and it's Celtic, I think, as well. So it's like all these languages put together. Of course, it's gonna break its own rules. It never, and it was also, it wasn't naturally made completely. It was almost forcefully, and we also decided to take, we had an alphabet once upon a time and then decided to use the Latin alphabet, which wasn't completely compatible, which did not help. So there was nothing in the Latin letters for th, so we used to use Y. And then when Germans started to write stuff, like when they made the press, they didn't have a Y, so they changed the Y to a TH, to something they did have. So we've got this really weird, like, amalgamation of stuff that just, and then there's German words, and like, we sound like, if you listen to German, it sounds very close to English. Like, there's a lot of German words in English. It's
yeah, I cannot imagine how some people learn the language, you know, at like you said, like your that person you worked with at such a later, your boss at such a later stage in life.
Yeah, no, I just, and he doesn't, like, he still has problems. Like, there's certain, like, turn of phrases and certain words that are kind of, like, he has to come and ask sometimes, like, someone just said this to me. I'm like, okay, that's what that means. He's like, what? Okay. But it's because there are certain words that aren't used very often. You just...
Yeah. I mean, yeah, it's difficult, but wow.
Like hoarding. Someone said something about hoarding to him once. He's like, what's hoarding? I'm like, oh, that's hard to explain. That's not an easy one to explain.
Just go watch the show Hoarders, and you'll get it.
That wasn't what the person, like, they were saying something about hoarding. It wasn't completely what they meant. They were being over extreme about something, and it was like, that's not what. Okay, but that's what he means. It's a bad thing. Anyways, I'm not gonna get too much into that. But anyways, there's been a few, like, so that's the one that sticks in my head, was the hoarding word, because I was like, that's a little extreme. But yeah, and a lot of people forget that about him too, for whatever reason, that English is not his first goddamn language. Like,
right.
Sometimes you're going to need to use a little bit simpler words, not something like hoarding, which isn't really a used word in everyday sentences. So why would he learn that? Like, so sometimes he goes like, someone just said this to me. I'm like, okay, that's what that means. And that's fine. I mean, if I was learning Spanish or French or whatever, I probably would come up like, someone just said this to me. What does that mean? Oh, okay. Like, so. Yeah, no.
Wow. Yeah. Go ahead.
It's just, yeah, I'm like I said, I'm not the biggest fan of English just because it's just so, got so many words.
Yeah.
But yet not enough words.
Not enough words?
There's some things that do not translate into English at all. Like,
That's very true.
Like baka, which is a Japanese word that means idiot. But it doesn't just mean idiot. It means moron, imbecile. Like, it's really an intense way of calling someone an idiot. Like, and it's hard to explain. You need to use more words to explain baka, which is spelled B-A-K-A.
Yeah. There's a couple of people who I guess added maybe a couple of different instances as well, which I'm not gonna try to to pronounce. Oh yeah, fearsome hero.
Yeah, fearsome knows a few different languages, so Swedish
and I guess pillow, fearsome. She wanted me to say pillow for some reason. Pillow. That's what she said.
Okay. But yeah, no, like. So I've come to, like, as I'm doing more of this stuff, I've started realizing that a lot of, like, Bard's he lives in Texas as well, but he's from South America originally.
Yeah, so that combination, that combination just makes his accent, the way he speaks, sound so interesting.
Yes, so he's got this little tiny bit Southern accent, or, like, from, like, the real South. We're not talking about South America.
Yeah.
Or we're talking about South America, not the South. And then a little bit of a Southern accent too, and it's very cool. I love it. Like,
yeah, I like it too.
I like combination accents. That there's no way anyone else could do it. Really, they would have to sit there and listen to Bard speak for hours to be able to pick up how he speaks.
And try to replicate it exactly. Right.
Exactly. When I did the intro for his video, because he had guest intros and I did one, everyone else, like, he said that everyone else was trying to mimic him in some way, and I was like, I'm just gonna do it like 42 would do it, not me, like my character 42. So I was very, like, suave and, like, all-knowing, which is not me, but that's how 42 is played. She's a like, all, like, she thinks she's the bee's knees, basically. Which is another weird turn of phrase.
The bee's knees, I know that one.
Yeah. No. It's fun to just, like, I haven't really fleshed out too very much, but the problem is she's not really one that would ever take over my channel. Well, 42 is a character that has taken over the channel a couple of times and also kidnapped Silver a couple of times. Our first collab, Silver got kidnapped by 42 to do a video with me. It was quite amusing.
Yeah, such an interesting backstory. Yeah.
I was just having fun. It's the first and only time I think he's ever done anything like that, and I think it was the first time I ever did anything like that. But I like the idea.
That's very cool. I like that.
Yeah, I definitely want to do that again, where if I'm doing, like, a big collab with someone, have them kidnapped and taken over, like, what the hell happened?
Yeah, you should. That sounds pretty, I think that sounds like pretty awesome. Yeah.
I mean, I always wanted to be an actress. Of course I'm going to go a little overboard.
Yeah. So since with your, have you ever thought about learning another language?
I've tried, but with my dyslexia, it's a lot harder. I've been told, though, Japanese would probably be the best bet for me. Bard was saying, I think, I'm 99% sure it was Bard, was saying that he knows someone that learned Japanese, and they were dyslexic, and they said Japanese is made for dyslexic people. It's so much easier. Hello, amateur.
Welcome, amateur.
So I would like to learn Japanese. Me and my husband, this is cringy for anyone who knows Japanese. Me and him, our pet name for each other is Love Sama. Sama in Japanese means, like, lord or lady. It's a subfact. It's a sub. What do they call it? A sub. I can't remember.
Set?
Some prefix.
Prefix.
So, like, if you want to call someone cute, you would say Chan afterwards. So, like, I'm going to say this weirdly. Fearsome Chan. Because she can't say anything to stop me. So, it's a way of endearing
Oh.
someone and being cute, and it's what a lot of people will call their kids too. They'll throw Chan at the end. There's more to it too, but so we went with Sama because we really both love Japanese. He really wants to learn it. I want to learn it, and it was our way of saying that we love each other and yet also respect each other at the same time. It was a dual thing. I don't think anyone who was actually Japanese would appreciate it as much as we do, but at the same time, it's a pet name. Pet names are
Right.
normally a bit cringy, so
Yeah, they kind of have to be.
yeah, it's kind of how it works. But in Japanese, they also aren't very big on being affectionate in person
Yeah.
either, too. So there's a lot to it. But yeah, so it's a pet name that we have for each other, like Honey and Sweetie and stuff like that. Like, even those are kind of, cringy in their own way. So it's not like pet names aren't cringy. So yeah, Rando's
Okay. Alright,
dyslexic.
Oh, okay. Very dyslexic.
Dyslexia is an association with demigods and demigoddesses. Yes. So Domino, so the main character has dyslexia, but it's not really that he has dyslexia. It's that his brain's actually programmed to read ancient Greek. Was what it was. So his brain was not programmed for English.
Interesting.
It's the Percy Jackson series is what he's talking about.
Okay.
I
Yeah.
can't remember the author's name. Chan is a term of endearment for a female that is close to you. It is inappropriate to call random person Chan. It is too informal and considered disrespectful. Yes, I can't just walk up to a random person and call them Chan. But
Silver Chan.
yes, but you can walk up to, if you're meeting someone for the first time, so to not put a prefix on something is also a big no-no in Japan. So unless you are very close, and most people I think call each other by their last names too, if I remember correctly.
Wait, so you're saying you have to put
Yes.
some sort of
Yes.
prefix
So
if you're not close to somebody.
yes,
You have to
so
choose something.
San, S-A-N, San is neutral. So I would call you here hair rising San, unless and if I think of you as higher, there's another prefix for that. If you are someone lower than me, there's another prefix for that. But you, like, this is all in my, like, all the mangas I own. They
Right.
keep that because they keep the sans and stuff in, because it's important to know those, because those also, like, I don't like the fact that animes always take those out. They should actually start trying. Yeah, last name San is the equivalent of Mr. and Mrs. Yeah.
Yeah, I've seen that a lot.
And then there's Lord and Lady, and there's a whole whack of them.
So yeah, I wonder what's the, like, if you're in a situation where you're not sure if somebody's like kind of at the same level of you or beneath you, and you have to kind of choose what to call them. I imagine those situations have to come up, right?
Yes. Yes, there's a lot of prefixes. You would sadly probably go with San if you're really not 100% sure. But at the same time, if you mess up and they are higher than you, that is a sign of disrespect. So you might start with Sama, just to cover your butt.
Wait, what's Sama?
Sama, which means like a leader or a lord or a lady. Like that's
Oh,
how we always.
okay.
That's what me and my husband call each other, Sama.
Sama. Okay,
Yeah.
so it's easier. It's better to just go with that and play it
Yeah.
safe.
I'm like, don't take me completely because I'm not part of the
Right.
Japanese culture. I am Canadian, but from what I've gathered, it is a big deal to know. But most likely, the person would introduce themselves in a certain way that would also help them. If someone's introducing you as well, they would do it in a certain way too. Equal leaders are dono, so yeah. So there's a lot of prefixes. Japanese is complicated until you learn it, basically. If you get what I mean, like it once you learn it,
Yes.
you're good. Well, in English, once you learn it, it's still complicated.
yeah. I've always been fascinated with Mandarin, and that's kind of on my. That would be probably a language that I would want to learn.
Although I believe the younger generation is departing from that because they're not as traditional. Probably still more traditional than us, but they're getting closer to us. Yeah, because we're starting to weave our way into their culture too. So apparently,
there's like a traditional Chinese and simplified Chinese, and I was reading not a lot of people, the younger generation is not learning those old traditional Chinese characters, and they're just going with everything, just going with simplified Chinese characters. And
Japanese is kind of going the same way, because there's simplified, and then they're more formal, and the formal's starting to go away because really all you use it for is your name now. It's like us signing. Who really knows how to handwrite? Everyone prints now. Handwriting is going the way of the dinosaurs. I only know how to handwrite my signature at this point.
Yeah, no, very true. So I think even a lot of people are saying if you're going to learn those languages like Mandarin or Japanese, it's better to learn how to type the characters, and you don't really need to learn the strokes of the characters themselves. Because that's just what everything is going to, everything's just going online. So you're going to be communicating through a computer and using the characters, typing the characters, rather than when are you actually going to be writing them. As long as you can recognize them, you can read the characters, and so.
Exactly. I still write like English words. So, I mean, I need to know how to write words. And I think, well, they have more characters. We have 26.
Yeah.
We have 26 letters that we have to learn. Technically, more than that. Because you need to know the capitals, too. So, you double that. So, we need to know 52 characters. There are way more in Chinese.
Oh yeah. Japanese, Chinese, a little different.
Because the Japanese language is based off of the Chinese originally. Because the Chinese have been around a lot longer than the Japanese have. Chinese can root themselves well into the BCs. Like, I think China's been around for 5,000 years. It's the oldest civilization still standing. It is older than ancient Egypt. And we don't talk about it.
I don't think I knew that.
Yeah, it's older than ancient Egyptian. Like, it's been around for a very long time. Like, it's had its problems. It's fallen, raised, but it's been around. So their writing has been around for a very long time too. So yeah, it's not surprising that Japan took their writing style from them, but they were trading with them. That's what happens. That's why a lot of people use the Roman letter system, is because Rome went everywhere and traded or took over, because they didn't take everything over, but they traded with a lot of cultures. So, and they also decided to take everyone's gods. And I found out why, actually. I didn't realize that they had this belief that they needed the favor of the gods, all gods, to keep themselves going. So they believed that when they went somewhere, they had to figure out what the gods were and either make something for it or find the equivalent of it. So.
Yeah. No, sorry. Go ahead.
So just thought that's how they've gotten so many gods. Rome has so many gods.
Yeah, you have a lot of information.
Couldn't tell you where I found it all. I cannot help you fact check. You just need to watch all the videos I've watched through my whole life, okay?
Well, and just to clarify, I think Fearsome and somebody else said talking about writing. Yeah, yes, I also know how to write. I was specifying more. I was specifying more writing in Chinese characters.
Yes.
But yes, I learned I know how to write.
Yes, and for someone learning the language at the very beginning, for Chinese and Japanese, you don't need to learn how to write the characters because most likely
Right, exactly.
you're going to be reading it on a piece of paper or you
Right.
need to be able to recognize them more.
Yeah. And think about all the time. I mean, unless you want to as a, because you enjoy it, but that's a lot of time that you'll be committing to it and you'll probably never really use it. Like actually need to write something in whatever language that is, whatever those characters are. So yeah, so I think while originally I said, well, no, I would really want to because can I really say that I've learned, Mandarin if I can't write it? But no, I think that just makes more sense that it's more time efficient that way to focus on learning to speak the language and using the characters and being able to type them so you can communicate online. So I just think that is way more a much better use of your time.
Yeah, and I mean, realistically speaking, if you can picture the character in your head, you probably can at least fake how to write it. It might not look exactly right, and it's never going to look exactly right because you're starting. Think what you started writing when you started writing the alphabet. It was big and loopy and way too huge. Mm-hmm. But if you ever try to write in another language that has very different characters, you're gonna have the same problem because you haven't learned how most efficient to write that letter. And you're not Asian, are you?
No.
They're going to know that you've learned the language secondhand, most likely.
Yeah.
That's the other thing.
Yeah, I think.
Very white on my end. I'm pretty sure if I came in speaking Japanese, most would know that I was not born knowing Japanese. But there are exceptions. There are people who are born with Japanese parents, or at least learn how to speak Japanese that don't look Japanese. So, but
exactly,
it's just funny. It's just like, are you a white boy? Not Chinese looking? It's fine. They'll know.
King and Fearsome. Yeah, no, I've learned. We use cursive writing. I've never growing up. They taught it, but I don't think I've ever used it in real life. I've never had to write anything in cursive.
Actually, creepy face, a lot of people have learned. My husband is one of them who's learned a lot of Japanese through watching anime in Japanese. Oh, he was kidding, but my husband's actually he's learned so much Japanese that he can sit down and listen to the Japanese and get a lot of it without the subtitles now because he's watched.
That's a great way to learn.
Yeah, but my husband also loves languages and can pick them up like nothing. He doesn't really know it anymore, but he used to know Spanish really well because he had to learn it. So Spanish is one of them. He was learning Arabic for a while there from one of our coworkers.
That's a hard one.
Yep. But he was learning it. He was actually getting pretty good. He actually was getting, the person who was teaching him was, very impressed with how little of an accent he had. Because my husband knows the secret to knowing how to speak in another language is being able to move your mouth. Your mouth doesn't sit the same for each language. It's really weird.
Yeah, that's one of the hardest languages to learn. Yeah.
Yep, but because he had already learned Spanish and had already figured out, he also speaks Spanish like a Cuban, which is quite funny. He learned from Cubans. Of course he speaks like a Cuban. He lived in Florida, or what he likes to call it, North Cuba. He lived in South Florida, specifically. So there are a lot of Cubans there. My favorite story he ever told me was he was staying in line from work. He was just buying something. And these two guys in front of him were talking about how he's this fat white boy and all this other stuff, and just like making fun of him in front of him, having no
Aw.
clue that he knew Spanish. and I think they were behind him, actually, and he had finished. He turns around and says in perfect Spanish, "I hope you have a good day." They went so white.
You never know what language people know nowadays. Yeah.
Especially when they live in, well, to be fair, he did look like the kind of white guy that wouldn't know Spanish, now that I think about it. He doesn't look, it sounds bad, but he wouldn't have really looked like one of those people who would have been like all about Spanish and learning other languages. It's hard
And
to
you said that was in
Florida.
you said that was Florida, yeah, because if you live in somewhere like that, Florida, California, Texas, yeah, I mean, you most people would learn or pick up or know a lot of words in Spanish, and just depends on where you live as well. But yeah, you don't assume that somebody doesn't know it. At least I wouldn't.
Yeah, no, but it was just funny because he had actually gone out of his way. He had a friend named Jesus, aka Jesus, and another boss he told them, "Do not speak to me in English anymore, unless I need to know what the word means. Speak to me only Japanese, or not Japanese, sorry, only in Spanish." And he seriously picked up a language that way. He can't read Spanish in any way, shape, or form.
Right.
But he can speak it, which is more important.
Interesting.
So
So it sounds like, yeah, he has a little bit of a skill and talent there to
yes.
Pick up new languages.
Oh, completely. I personally said I think he would be great if he learned a few languages and became a translator.
He should. Yeah, that sounds awesome.
He could make a
That's
really
such a
good amount of money doing that. But
and it's so awesome to know different languages.
Yes, anime is not a good representation of Japanese. It is broken and too casual for most of Japan. But the fact that he has learned some Japanese, he's also going out of his way to learn Japanese in other ways. It's just very interesting that he has learned Japanese to the point where he actually can watch anime without much subtitle. And it has helped.
Oh man, that would be awesome.
But yeah, I've also been trying to get him, because he's starting to lose a bit of his Spanish. And I'm like, well, why don't you find someone that you like talking to and speak to them in Spanish so you don't lose that? Because I personally think it would be a horrible thing for him to not be able to speak Spanish anymore, because that's losing the language. If you don't use it, you lose it.
Exactly. That would be a great way to do it, to just have conversations with people in that language.
I've tried to get him to talk to Bard.
Yeah, perfect.
Actually, him and Bard would get along very well.
Similar
yes.
personalities.
Fearsome hero. Bard! Yes. Yes. Well, I mean, me and Bard like clicked like that. Like, we have become very good friends. Like, not very good, but we become good friends very quickly.
Yeah.
I don't want to say that, because Fearsome and him are very good friends. They're definitely a lot closer than I am, and that's fair. But it's almost like he's my brother from another mother. Like, seriously. It's like oh, I didn't know Lucid knew Spanish. But yeah, I've been trying to find someone that you like. Bard likes card games like my husband does. I'm trying to help him just try to figure out how, like, someone to talk to. Yes, Bard loves everyone. Yeah. I know. I'm reading, like, Fearsome saying, like, on the side. Yes, and everyone expects for me be English, me be living in Canada. I know French. I have bonjour, comment ça va? Ça va bien. Et toi? Je m'appelle Elise, 242. Oops.
Yeah, French is hard. I took French for like 3 years in high school. I don't remember anything, except to like count to 8 maybe, and just say
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 17, 18, 19, 20. I missed one. 20, 21, 22, 23, yeah. The tens are complicated. There's a
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9,
and these.
10.
Yeah, and there's also a bit of an accent. Yeah.
Oh,
I throw on an accent because I learned with someone who actually knew French. She was born knowing French. Shush, Silver. Don't you say what I just did.
What was it?
Don't worry about it.
I missed it.
It's okay.
What was it?
Silver knows, and anyone who knows French knows I might have really screwed up there. Anyways, I'll type it to you because I'm not going to say it here. So yeah, tu ne peux pas parler au français. You know, I don't remember that word is. Speak French. Is what he said there. I just don't know what PEU stands for. I know parler means speak. Ne pas means no together, and tu is always you. Like I can piece together what it says there. You don't speak French. So I was right. Yeah.
Yeah. So do you communicate? I mean, are there a lot of people there in the area who do know French?
There's a few people. I used to live in a community where half of the people spoke French.
Oh, okay.
Miss Creepy Tails. I speak food. Miss Creepy Tails speaks 3 friggin' languages.
Nice.
She speaks, because she's not from Thailand originally. She's from the Philippines originally. So she speaks, I forget what the Filipino language is called. It starts with a G. So she speaks that, and then she speaks Thai, and then she speaks a third one as well. So she speaks 3 languages. Oh, English. Of course.
English, yeah.
Yeah.
So.
How do I communicate to Miss Creepy Tails? I don't know. I thought she spoke 7. I think she only speaks 3, but don't hold me to that. I could be wrong. Do you know the person who knows how many languages she speaks? Miss Creepy Tails. So she's 3 languages. Oh, and a bit of Thai. So she speaks 3.5.
Yeah, knowing other languages is such a valuable skill to have.
I speak gay language.
Oh, I guess it's gay language. Okay.
I don't know. I worked with people that spoke a language from the Philippines, and they said it was like Gaelic or something. I can't remember. I don't know. I assumed it was the national language. I didn't ask more questions. I just laughed every time they had like the odd word of English.
You just said, "Oh."
Yes, exactly.
Tagalog.
Apparently Raven is in the stream. He's just lurking. He's not saying anything today. Also, everyone remember to hit the like
hit
button.
The like button.
Yes. Tagalog. Oh, that is it.
Tagalog.
Yeah.
Wait, so is tag the same thing as Tagalog, or are they 2 different ones?
I think that's what they said they were speaking. I'm probably saying it wrong. I just can't. But I think that was the language they were talking about that they speak. So, I don't know. They all had names that started with J's. Seriously. Every last one of them. There was Joy. There was Jay. There was June. Every single one of them had a name that started with a J.
Wait, were these their real names?
Was not their first name, but it was their middle names.
Oh, okay.
So it was their real names.
It was their real names. Okay.
Yes.
Oh, interesting.
I miss working with them.
Yeah, because I guess whenever you, well, at least I know for Mandarin, like, if you're an English speaker who learns Mandarin, you can come up with your own Chinese name. And
a lot of Chinese people, when they come over here, will take English name as well.
Yeah, so I was wondering if that was their real name or their English name.
To my knowledge, it's their real name. From what I remember them telling me, it was their real name.
Interesting.
My dog is just staring at me like, Mom, come over here and pet me. You should come pet
How many pets? How many pets do you have?
Just the dog. I just have
the
a dog.
dog.
We were gonna get fish and then something happened, but I don't like fish. It was my roommate's fish, so.
Yeah, it'd be hard to have fish as a pet. I'd feel because I don't know. It'd be hard to consider it a pet, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I don't. Well, I
yeah.
mean, Stormy has fish. He loves them. Seraphine the Midnight Bard. The bard senses told me Fearsome was here.
Hello, Bard.
We should make a group chat on Discord where we do language lessons. I'm good. Well, only for me because I have problems. Like I tried to learn French. I really did. I went into French immersion to learn French.
Oh wow.
Bonjour, comment ça va? Ferme la porte. Shut the door.
It's hard. Well, hey, it's hard. I don't.
Yes, and my parents like they were reluctant to let me go because they knew I had such problems, but they saw how much of a drive, and also I went home every night and I studied very hard trying to get French, and I couldn't. I tried really hard, and by Christmas time, so about 3 months in, I had to leave French immersion because I wasn't learning it. But that teacher, she's fired now. She actually got fired.
What?
Yes, she was a So my mom told me they had the parent teacher conference. They have just before we're about to speak only French. And they're like, the teacher's like, your daughter is the stupidest child I've ever had to teach. She is not learning French. I don't know why she's here. And my mom just wanted to rip her a new one.
Wow.
Here I am, dyslexic, trying really hard to learn another language. And she's telling my mom that I can't. Like, yes, they've lowered it now to Domino. It's actually grade 4 or 3 where they start learning French now. It used to be grade 5 when I was in school, but they've lowered it now. I tried. I do know she got fired a couple of years later because she was talking to her students and the principal came in and she yells saying, "You were the stupidest student I've had the mispleasure of ever teaching." So apparently she told other students.
Oh my god.
So she got fired. But my problem with her was she was a native French speaker.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if she learned English at the same time or afterwards, but she had no clue how hard it was to learn French. She thought it was the easiest thing to learn. It wasn't. It's so difficult to get your head around it.
Yeah, she just sounds like a bad teacher.
Yes,
period.
She should have never been a teacher, especially another language teacher. So we had 2 French immersion classes. We had her, we had another one. The other one had learned French later in life, and she was more understanding. She was a better French immersion teacher.
So do you think that if you're learning a new language from somebody, it's better to learn it from somebody who is a native speaker or somebody who is not a native speaker because they understand more of what it takes and can relate more to learning a new language?
It depends on the person. Really, you could have someone who's not a native speaker who thinks it's the easiest thing in the world. They have no trouble speaking it, so why can't you? You just need someone teaching you that understands that it is not easy to learn another language. For whatever reason, this teacher thought learning other languages was super easy, and she didn't understand that you can't just pick it up like that. I'm wondering if she'd learned English almost right beside French. They've proven that if you learn another language through your life, You're able to pick up any other language like it's nothing almost. Because you've already programmed your mind to be able to do it the first time. So I'm thinking she learned English and French almost right next to each other, and she never understood that it was difficult in any way, shape, or form.
Yeah, wow, yeah, that's a little crazy to imagine somebody just being that extreme. Wow.
Yeah, the teacher got yeeted. I'm so happy she got fired.
Yeah.
Piece of garbage. I've had a few like really bad teachers. I also had a math teacher in my high school. And high school for where I lived, and this isn't Canada, this is just the province I lived in, is grade 8 to grade 12. And the math teacher I had was a pervert. Oh my god. He was put into early retirement because he was saying stuff like, "Stop yawning, you're exciting me." He would kind of make sure that he would drop something and look up girls' skirts.
Yeah, that's extreme.
We're talking like I was in grade 9 when he got let go.
Well, yeah, that's not just perverted, but that's
yes. I was trying to be a little more nicer about it, but yes, there was a few things that were happening that he was told he was no longer welcomed in the school. So yeah, he was not someone that should be working around young girls.
Oh yeah.
So
and that's so weird too that it's like a, you know, an early, well, when you say early retirement, do you really mean early retirement? Or
he was quite up there. Like he was like, I want to say 60. Like he was quite old. So it would have been early retirement for him. They probably told him, take your pension and leave.
Yeah, but to kind of get away with that and say, you know, you can have your pension still, and you know, you just get to go off into the sunset.
He hadn't done anything. No one said he had done anything, so he hadn't. But he was starting to go down that route. So yes, I'm happy he was taken out of the situation either way. I mean, he had spent most of his life teaching. I don't know if this was a new thing, if something had changed in his brain, because we now know that's a thing that can happen where they were fine and then all of a sudden, like, he had a seizure and his brain changed. I don't know any of that back stuff. I just know that during the time that I was in school, he was saying these things. And I'm going to assume it wasn't a problem originally because he had been in that school for a very long time. So he was informed that he was going into early retirement. And you know what? If he was fine for most of his life and it was just that end year, yes, okay, early retirement, get him away from the kids. And, you know, tell the police maybe what was going on too.
Yeah, at least, because even after you're out, you know, you still don't know what's...
Yeah.
You know,
I don't know what happened to him. I never saw him again.
Yeah.
So, and a lot of our teachers lived in Vancouver, so, which is a big city. I lived in a small town called Squamish, and we had a few teachers that actually lived in the Vancouver area that would drive up an hour to go to school and teach. So,
is that because that it's like a more rural area?
It wasn't a super small town either, but I think it's just that's where they found their jobs. I mean, the one that I can think of, she had been in my school for a very long time, and I think she just happened to move to Vancouver because she found something there that she liked. And Vancouver is a very big. She was an acting teacher, and there's a lot of like acting stuff, so she probably was able to find more small plays there and stuff like that. So she lived in the Vancouver area. So yeah, and also I think a little more accepting because I found out later that she was actually not straight, which is fine. I got nothing against that, but that was more of a bigger thing when I was growing up. But the Vancouver area was more understanding. Like I found out, I was like, oh, okay, and walk, like, whatever. Like, that doesn't mean anything. But so actually one of my favorite teachers ever. Actually most people that had her as a teacher, she was our favorite teacher. She was a very kind woman. I don't know if she's retired or not. because she was getting a little bit up there when I was leaving, so she might be just about the cusp of retiring, which will be, I think, a very big loss to that high school when she leaves. She, like I said, she's a very kind woman. You can tell she has a passion in teaching and a passion in acting, and she really loves her students and wants to see them succeed. And I think that's personally amazing that she has that drive, and to lose a teacher like that is such a pity. And I hope she gets replaced with someone that has just the same amount of passion as she does.
Good. Okay. So, all right. So it sounds like you didn't just have experience with bad teachers,
No.
but you
I had good
experienced some
teachers.
good ones in there too.
I also had an English teacher. She was very, very young. She had just got out of high school, or not high school, but out of college. And God, she loved, like, she was an English teacher, and I'm dyslexic, so I can't learn. She tried so hard to help people as much as she could. She was very understanding as well, which was a really nice thing after the last English teacher I had, where if I asked her any questions at all, she looked at me like I was an idiot. So I've had good teachers and bad teachers. But those are the horror story teachers that I had.
Wow.
It didn't help that the year that I had that woman with the question problem, I got severely sick and was out of school for almost a month. So I came back to not knowing anything. So I failed. I had to end up doing my grade 12 year twice just so I could graduate, because that was my grade 12 year.
Wow.
But if I had gotten her again, I would have been like, no, put me in another class. Or just give me all the information. I'll just do all the work without being around her. I can't.
And so do you think that now is there a lot more like understanding and familiarity with dyslexia and how the teachers work with people who are dyslexic?
I'm not really sure. I know that when I was in elementary school, I would go to classes and get extra help because I had dyslexia. I was always a grade behind, at least with my reading level. So there was understanding on that point for me. It's just when I got to French immersion, there was no help there because all that stuff was with English as the focus. So I couldn't get any extra help on that. So even when I was being raised and growing up, there was an understanding. I know it all went away by the time I got to high school, though. There was no extra help by that point. So I think we did have some special, in quotes, special needs people. I think a lot of them had Down syndrome. They were in a special class and stuff, and they would learn from there. So we had something like that, but I don't think we had anything for people that were dyslexic. And that, I think, was a shortcoming on their part. They should still have something to kind of help, because high school, you kind of get thrown to the goddamn wolves.
Yeah. Oh, yes.
I basically took all the down stuff, all the bad stuff, like I was only supposed to get to a grade 7 reading level. I would never really get very far in life, and went, fuck you, I'll show you. So
awesome.
I haven't gone very far in life, financially speaking, but I have gotten my reading level way higher than they ever thought I was going to be able to. I'm a very intelligent person, which I was told quite a bit growing up that I was an idiot. So I've done a lot of stuff to disprove, especially since all the random facts I just gave you.
Well, yeah, no, I can I can see that. I do not have that level of facts in my head. Don't ask me anything about anything, because I don't know. I'll have to Google it.
It's just so funny. My coworker at work, whenever we're working, I'll come up with these random facts. She just stares at me, like, sometimes, like, where do you get all this information from? I just watch YouTube. I have fun. I enjoy things.
Well, that's the same thought I had. I was like, where are you getting this from?
I'm a brain.
I cannot retain that level of information.
A lot of it I've rewatched a few times too. So, but I find it interesting. I've watched my husband like, you've already watched this. Yeah. So what's your point? I'm watching it again to make sure I have all the details that I remember correctly. This is not a bad thing. So.
Yeah, I still can't get over so many people just being so so mean. Like, you know, when you were younger.
Oh yeah. I've come to accept a few things. I'm a weird duck, which does not fly in high school.
But like no, go ahead.
That's just it. You're not allowed to be weird or out of it or any of that. That's not allowed.
Yeah, high school, man. High school sucks. I think for most people. But yeah, I can't imagine myself like telling somebody younger, "Wow, you're an idiot," or "You're such a," just like that. Just sounds like, I mean,
yeah, you're the worst student I've ever had the mispleasure of teaching.
Yeah, I still. How do you? Oh, God.
Yeah. No, it was. Pretty bad. I'm quite happy. As much as I would love to go to past me and go, it will be okay, you're going to be fine, I know that the heartache and the troubles that I went through helped. It made me a stronger person because of it. And somehow did not lose the trustworthiness, like the trusting self either.
Good. That's important.
Yes.
Man, still.
The more you know. Random 242 facts.
Now we know.
Like I said, these are just chats. Like no random stuff. Just.
King of the Canadian Hill said, my high school was awesome. Best years of my life. All down. It's all down from here.
Yeah, all downhill from now. Yeah. Yeah. It's okay, Canadian Hill. You had a good. You had high school and had fun.
You had a good run.
You were hooped. I'm sorry. Anyone I met that had good high school years, it's all downhill from there.
You've had your time. All right, it's our time now.
Yeah. But yeah, no, I just thought that joke. No.
Yeah.
It's all downhill, dude. You're the one who. That's why you named yourself Canadian Hill, right? You're just showing that you're all going downhill now.
Domina said, I had a teacher tell me, I'll pass you if you promise to never take my class again. I agreed. I passed. Then I switched schools. Yeah, there's a.
It's not the first time I've heard that stuff. My dad was in high school and he failed. He failed a course. And he made sure he was in that teacher's class again and made sure to pass the second time. And he said, I will keep coming. I'm pretty sure I might be mixing two stories together. Mm-hmm. I know my dad did something like that, and I know my husband did something like that too, where he was like, I will be in this class every goddamn day doing no work and still pass your class. And I remember my husband said that one. And my dad, because my dad's dyslexic like me, so he has problems. Mm-hmm. So, but I remember he class, and he made sure he passed the second time. And he stared at the teacher the whole time. So the teacher made sure to pass him. I remember my husband and my dad have a very similar story, and they're mixed in my head. So I can't tell them exactly right. But basically, they both had a teacher fail them, and they basically threatened, I will be here every goddamn day from now on. If you fail me. My husband didn't have to do it a second time. The teacher just passed him.
Wow.
I, on the other hand, went, I hate this teacher. Make sure I'm not in that class again.
Yeah, I know I've had I had in college. I know there was a class that I tried a class with a professor. He was a good professor. I just I wasn't getting the subject matter. This was a government class, and I wasn't getting understanding the subject matter. I failed it, and then I tried it with another teacher. I also failed that same class because I just couldn't wrap my head around it. So I tried it back with the first teacher again, and I passed. But funny enough, now it's kind of the what I do for work. So it was like my worst subject, but somehow I ended up.
Well, apparently, third time's a charm. Now you do it for life.
Yeah.
That's your punishment, dude. I, on the other hand, am not doing what I went to college for. So, but I didn't.
Well,
I went for college for
for what?
6 weeks.
Oh.
It was trade school.
What was it?
It was HVAC, heating, air conditioning, ventilation with refrigeration thrown in.
Oh yeah, I took a lot of. Yeah, go ahead.
Well, I was gonna say, so what you do is you do school for it's a 4-year apprenticeship. It's 6 weeks, 6 weeks, 8 weeks, 8 weeks, and it's once a year. And that's all you do for schooling for trades, because you're supposed to get on-site training. So that's the only college I went to.
But you finished it, right? I mean,
Yeah.
the program.
Yep. So I'm a second year apprentice.
Okay, but you said you're not pursuing that as a.
Not right now. No, it's my problem. I personally think if you can do it and get into a trade, that's great. My problem with it is I kept getting laid off. As soon as everything got slowed down, I kept getting laid off. I cannot make ends meet being laid off every 3 to 6 months because I'm an apprentice. But I was about 28, 30 years old by the time I went in and started doing this stuff. So I'm already got lots of bills. I can't afford to be laid off. So I can't afford to do this trade where they can't guarantee me any time. So it's just as much as I loved doing it and I really enjoyed it, I can't financially put myself through that over again, where we don't know where our next paycheck's coming from, because I need to go find another goddamn job again. That's the problem.
Damn.
And in Canada, it is a lot different than the States. In the States, you will, if you go in, like, I know it's with, like, plumbing, is you will know how to do one thing only. So, like, with HVAC, you'll know how to put in the systems, and that's it. You won't know how to service them in any way. In Canada, you need to know how to put them in, you need to know how to service them, you need to know how to do all this stuff. So if I got my full red seal here and went to the States, I would be what they call a master tradesman, because I know how to do everything. While in the States, it's very specific on what you know, because you guys have a bigger population, so you are able to specialize, I guess would be what you say.
Right, a specialization, yeah.
Have a good night, alternative night.
Nope. Have a good night.
Also, your rules on how you guys deal with refrigerant annoys the hell out of me.
What are the rules there?
So there, if you have a residential unit and it is losing 5 pounds of refrigerant a year, fine, just keep filling it up. You're good. Canada, you're losing refrigerant, find the goddamn leak before you put any refrigerant in it. It should not be leaking. Refrigerant systems are supposed to be sealed. They're not supposed to lose refrigerant. You are not supposed to have to refill it. That is not a thing. If you have to refill your refrigerant, you just need to, in quotes, top it up. You've got a goddamn leak somewhere. Go find it and fix it. Yes, it annoys me.
Can I contact you whenever I have problems with my HVAC?
I would love to help you, but most of the information's gone. I haven't been in HVAC for like 3 years now. So you're not you're no longer I guess
pursuing that.
No, I haven't been. We moved cities, and I haven't even pursued it since we moved cities. It's just been it was such a nightmare for me with being laid off, losing money, all the stress that came with the instability of it. As much as I loved the job, I hated that, and it stopped me from ever going. But yeah, no, that annoys me that, like, you guys, your country allows you to lose that much refrigerant, and our refrigerant is better than it used to be, but we're still using R410, which still hurts the ozone a little bit. It still causes greenhouse gases. Like, no. Stop. Fix the leak. You're not supposed to be topping up your refrigerant. Your system should be self-sustaining. You should never have to put refrigerant in it unless you've had a really bad service, or you start losing leaks. Even when it's being serviced, you lose a little, like every time we put our gauges on, you lose a little bit of refrigerant. There's nothing we can do. We can't not do that. That's fine. So if your system's been serviced quite a bit recently, you might need a little bit of a top up, but that's fine. You've lost maybe an ounce of refrigerant, not 5 pounds.
Yeah, so I wonder what the difference is there between, why between the requirements.
It's just different laws. Canada says if you have a leak, you have to go find it, fix it before you put refrigerant in it. Because it's a different law. In the States, the law is 5 pounds for residential. It's a certain size machine. And then commercials, I think it's 10 pounds of refrigerant. I think. Don't hold me to that one. But I know it's 5 pounds for the residential. And when I found that, and when everyone in my class found that out, we all just stared at it and went, what? They don't have to fix the leak? So, like, we're just staring at it going, because our
what do you?
So most of the stuff's the same, because we were using an American textbook. Our textbook's American. There was only like the odd thing where our teacher went, actually, that's not the law here. That was the biggest one that I remember was, no.
What?
Yeah. So, so we used an American textbook, so it's all American based. But for the most part, most of our laws and it's mostly a science book actually. HVAC is mostly a science because you need to know, if I take this gas, I compress it. It now has changed forms. So you need to know from when it's going to be a gas to a liquid, because what your refrigerant, what your fridge does, what your AC does is, and I don't know furnaces as well. I've only worked really on ACs, but
right.
So we put in the refrigerant, and the reason why we use certain refrigerants, you actually can use water if you really want to, but it's not a very good refrigerant. You can use bunch of different stuff, but most people use like R410 is the big one now, that R410A. And so you're taking this, you're taking the gas, you're putting it in the system, and you've got the condenser, the compressor, the valve, and all this stuff. And really what you're doing is you're taking the heat from inside your house. So you're taking this super cooled liquid, it's taking in your heat, it's evaporating, and then that goes all the way to the outside unit, pushing that hot air out into the atmosphere, and also the heat that the system is creating with the compressor, which is what compresses your gas back into a gas. So that takes it out. So really, all AC is doing is taking the hot air inside your house and putting it outside and giving you cold air.
Yeah, see, I cannot retain that information like you can, like that. After a while, that much time has passed.
Compressor, condenser. There's so many C words. Like, it's a bunch of C words. There's capacitors, which start up your system. It's a little, like, it's almost like a battery-like thing that just helps your system turn on, because it takes a lot to get the compressor going. Compressor is what's moving stuff, basically.
Right.
And if your compressor goes, oh my god, you're hooped. The compressor's the most expensive thing in the whole system. And heavy.
Well, it sucks that you can. Yeah, it sucks that you couldn't, move forward with that.
I probably could try again if I really wanted to, but it would be a big conversation with my husband and me. And I'm also doing something that I'm very passionate about now too. So, hey, Dark Knight. We also should be talking about ending the stream. I normally will go for 2 hours. It's been 2.5.
Wait, how long have we been on for?
2.5, just shy.
2.5?
Yep.
Oh wow. Okay. I didn't know that much time had passed. Okay.
I have a little timer on my screen, so it tells me. But that's from the second that I went live with the music, not from when you've been on too. So.
Which was like only a 5-minute difference, right?
Yeah, something like that. So yeah, we've been on for a while. But yeah, no. I found it really interesting because of the science of it, and knowing the difference between like a gas and like you need. Like, there also has to be so much gas in there for everything to work properly. So, the ideal system for your refrigerant, at one point, basically everything will turn to gas, in quotes. It's not quite like that. And everything will turn to a liquid. You need a solid stream of liquid, and you need a solid stream of gas at certain points.
And so, how does where does the flux capacitor, like Domino said, fit into it?
There is no flux capacitor. But what would be the closest to a flux capacitor would be your valve, because there are different kinds of valves. What you get from like the kind that are in like those window shakers, the ones that go in the windows, are very very simple valves. Basically the tube's just a little bit smaller, so it slows down things moving through it. There's no way to adjust it. There's no way to fix it. If it is slightly off, you're hooped. Well, in the systems that they put in with, there are different ones, but most of them is another kind where the system can actually move it up and down. It's a little metal thing that's between the copper tubing, and it's got a little valve inside of it, and the system can move it and adjust it. So if it's got a high if you have a very high draw rate that you need more, it can move it bigger. If you have less of a draw, it can make it smaller. So it's able to control the system better, and it's a much better valve. I wish they would put those also in the window shakers. It's a much better valve. It will make your system last longer. But at the same time, you're not paying very much money for that system. So, the one outside, you're paying thousands of dollars for.
Yeah, so King said that he works in HVAC, and he says that you know a lot. So it sounds like you were playing down your knowledge in this, and from hearing you, which I don't know what you're talking about, by the way, but you might as well be speaking French. But
Bonjour! No, just kidding.
but it sounds like you know what you're talking about in the area.
I didn't know you worked at HVAC Canadian. That's funny. Yeah, I do know quite a bit. I know that I'm missing stuff, and I don't remember everything anymore.
Yeah. Well, it's been so long too.
Yes, it has. King Cadaver, can I get you to come out to Alberta? I just need one thing for you to do for my furnace. I can't remember how to do it. So, the house that we live in, the thermostat that they have is the wire running to it is a 2-wire. All I need is a 3rd wire, which hooked into the furnace, so I can make the fan run 24/7 without the heat on. They didn't run 3 wires just so you can make it so the fan can run, which means you take the cold air from your basement and put it upstairs. It's really good for summer, and it's cheap. It's the cheapest way of like having air movement in your house.
So can you take any of this knowledge and like do little things with your like at your place?
I don't remember how to hook that little wire into the fan. If I can remember how to do that, I could fix it. I could run the wire. I could literally run the wire very easily. I just need a third wire.
Okay.
I'm not a professional Zamboni dryer. Not good at HVAC. I make things blow up.
Yeah, we all have our specialties, King.
He is this professional Zamboni driver. Yeah, no, you need an activating switch. Well, yeah, I don't remember any of that. Yeah, see, a lot of it's gone. And I didn't work very much on furnaces, too. I worked very little on furnaces. Every time I was working during the summer, so we worked on the ACs. I put in furnaces and I helped with the wiring part of it, but I don't think I did the wiring inside the furnace very much. I know I did the wiring for our thermostats, so we ran them, and I know how to do that part, but I can't remember. I can't.
Did you say it was a 3.5 year process or
4?
3.5 months?
It's 4. It's 4 months. It's 4 years.
4 years. Okay.
But you get paid during it.
Okay. Huh? What's not bad.
So yeah, it's really I'm not against people going in and getting the trades. It's a great idea.
Right.
Do it when you're younger and able to take some more of the hits. Like, it's so annoying that. So they have this thing called pre-apprentice, which takes like the first year off, but you're in school for 6 months, I think, for that, and it's a full-time job. Like, it's a full-time schooling. I was like, I can't afford that. I can't afford to not be working for 6 months, or it was 3 or 6 months.
That's a long time.
It was 3 or 6 months. It was a significant amount of time. I'm like, I am a full-grown goddamn woman who has to pay her bills, who's living in BC, which is expensive. I'm like, how am I supposed to make my ends meet by doing this? It's not realistic.
Yeah, so your suggestion to everybody else, do it when you're young.
Yeah, when you
have less responsibilities. When you have less
debt.
responsibilities.
And less debt. That's why. Then why do we keep putting the wrong people in the government?
I feel like that's pretty much all over the world.
Yeah.
Widespread.
Anyways, that's my rant for the day. Go into a trade if that's something you're passionate for and you think you would actually enjoy it. Try to do it younger when you can actually afford to not be paid all the time and maybe living with your parents for a little bit. One of the actual journeymen, which means he's got his full ticket, actually still lived with his parents because he was saving up money so he could buy his house.
Wow.
Like, he was a journeyman. But we're talking BC is California. Basically. It's about the equivalent.
Ugh.
Yeah.
Yikes.
So I'm talking about like expense and stuff like that. BC is not the most expensive. I think Ontario is the most expensive province, one of the most expensive provinces to live. And it's not easy to make your ends meet there. And I lived in BC most of my life. And then I moved to Alberta, and then I moved back to BC, and it was the worst mistake I ever made because we got so in debt while living in BC that we've moved back to Alberta, and we are way better off. We're still paying out the bills to get ourselves out of that big hole we put ourselves in by mistake.
Wow. Yes, yeah, high cost living areas. Yeah. Luckily, I don't live in one of those. Live in Texas, so I don't have to worry about
I basically live in Texas.
Good. Much better off.
Yeah, I like it. I live in a big city. I think I live in the biggest city in Alberta. Actually, it's called Calgary. It's not the capital. Edmonton's the capital, but Calgary is bigger than Edmonton now, and I like it here. Like, I always joked I would never ever live in Calgary because Calgary sucks and blah 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 blah. And now I live here, and I'm like, I'm never gonna live in Edmonton. I don't think I could live up.
Did it have a reputation for something, or
no,
it was just like?
So my dad pretty much was born. He wasn't born, but he was raised in the Edmonton area, and it was always a joke like, even the birds fly upside down because they won't poop on Calgary. All the trees in Edmonton lean south because Calgary sucks. Like,
damn.
Like, lots of jokes.
Damn.
And now I live in Calgary, and my dad, the first year I moved here, comes to visit. He looks me dead in the face. He's like, "You know I love you because I'm not willing to disown you." So.
Jeez. but good.
Oh, God.
Yeah,
No, I will not look for how expensive. I lived in the West Edmonton Mall. Damn. No. I know how expensive Toronto, Ontario is. It's very expensive. I didn't know about London, Ontario, but I knew Toronto and Vancouver are one of the worst cities to try to find anywhere to live. They are so bad.
Because of how expensive it is?
Yes, and also Toronto and Vancouver both have the same problem where it's a bunch of foreign people coming in and buying all the property and making it more expensive for the people that live here. And Vancouver has been fighting that by throwing in a tax that if you're not a Canadian citizen that's buying land, you have to pay more taxes. Because they're trying. They're trying to make it a bit easier for Canadians to actually live, in their own goddamn city.
Yeah, that's what's happening right now in Texas with people moving in from California. So maybe Texas needs to do something for out-of-state people because they're driving prices up.
And Toronto actually has, they also have money laundering in their property sales. So a lot of stuff that is being sold for so much that isn't worth that actual amount. It's skyrocketed things more. Again, I know a lot of random things. Don't ask why.
A lot of random things, yes.
I personally have no interest to ever even go to Ontario, to be honest.
So a question, if somebody was to visit Canada, what would be the place, like somebody who's never been to Canada, what would be the place they would, they should visit?
Okay, are we talking about what exactly do they want to see? Do they want to see really beautiful, architecture?
They're on vacation.
Well,
they're on vacation.
Are they more into nature or are they more into architecture?
Architecture.
I would go to Toronto or Quebec. I would go to Ontario or Quebec. Montreal would be a good one. I'm not sure. Come 42. We love you. Too expensive. Come to Alberta. Like Quebec, like Montreal is a very beautiful city. Do not drive in Montreal if you come here. Their rules are a bit different. You're not allowed to turn right on a red light at all. And they have a few different rules. So if you do come and you're going to Quebec, and I think it's all of Quebec, do not drive. Get someone else. But yes, Montreal is very beautiful. And Toronto has some very pretty, and Ottawa as well have some very pretty architecture. If you were more into nature and seeing really cool parks, the Vancouver area has a place called Stanley Park. It's very beautiful. I almost died there. I'm from Vancouver. I was biking, didn't know there was a sharp cliff. I hit a tree instead of going over the cliff and dying. But I was 8 at the time. I didn't know better. Most likely this wouldn't happen to you. This was just a freak thing. I had the wrong bike. You could walk the seawall there. Very beautiful. So, and it's got a lot of culture too. If you were wanting to see a national park, there's a place called Jasper and Banff. Yeah. Jasper and Banff, which have hot springs, both are very beautiful. They're right between. They're actually in Alberta, but they're right between Alberta and BC. Beautiful place to visit. In the winter, there's skiing. Also, Vancouver, Whistler has some of the best skiing in the world, or the Vancouver Aquarium. Okay, so apparently not Ottawa. I'm wrong about Ottawa. I don't think we have direct. Yes, you do. You do have direct flights to Calgary, Domino. Don't you play? I've been direct flight to Toronto. I know this thing.
Is there a train? I heard something about a train that goes across Canada. Do you know what I'm talking about?
No, I do not know about that, but you could look more into it. I know there is a road that goes all the way through Canada, but you're looking at days. There's the Trans-Canada. Trans-Canada Highway, which goes all the way from Vancouver. I think it's Vancouver. It's definitely in the Okanagan Valley, which is another place I lived. And it goes all the way to the East Coast. So, I don't live in Toronto.
Just a few different possibilities for people who are thinking of going to Canada.
Again, Vancouver is a little expensive. You probably could find something. I'd also say Squamish is very beautiful as well. I'm from there, so I'm a little biased on it, but it's very beautiful. They've got the Chief. They now have a gondola on the Chief, so you can go all the way to the top without having to hike it. Very beautiful view. Vancouver has a Stanley Park, has a few other things. It also is a big hub for film. It's Toronto and Vancouver have the biggest filming industries in Canada. So so there's lots of, but yeah, I personally, one of my favorite places in Vancouver is Stanley Park. Absolutely beautiful park. You gotta be right against the seawall. There's the Lionsgate Bridge. Yeah, I'm more able to tell you more about the Vancouver area. Banff is very pretty. Jasper's very pretty. They're national parks. You can go camping in them if you like camping.
Oh, I love national parks. Yeah.
So, so there's lots to do. And then if you are more into architecture, I know for a fact that Montreal is one of the most beautiful cities for that purpose. Most people there speak French and English because it is in Quebec, which is our French province. But you could easily find your way around. It is very tourist attractive. And then yeah, Stanley Park is sweet. I love Stanley Park. Oh, my mom used to drive through it every day.
And
do not go there at night. Do not go to Stanley Park during night, though. Only during the day.
So King, what train is that, King, that I'm thinking about? Because I thought it was like it is a train that goes across Canada. I guess as a I don't know if it's a tourist thing, but I wonder if King knows.
Apparently Port Stephen in Ontario is awesome too. Yeah, so you would have to ask more Canadians who have lived in different parts. I don't think many people would mention Saskatchewan or Manitoba. They're the prairies. There's nothing there. You can watch your dog run away 3 days ago and still see them running away. It's a bad joke from Corner Gas. Yeah, the prairies are pretty cool, but there's nothing really there to go see, to my knowledge. But I've never really been to Saskatchewan, so I'm not going to be the greatest person to tell you about that.
Are there any places that you go to and people just speak French?
Quebec.
It's mostly just the majority of the people speak French there.
Yes, it was originally colonized by the French. We took it over. England took it over. It still speaks French. All their signage is in French. They have a bylaw for that. That's what it is. A bylaw. Anyways, they have a provincial law. Bylaw is for cities, provincial. But there's a provincial law where saying that all your names have to be French. There can be no English.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, which is kind of annoying because there was this woman, he just said the corridor train. That sounds familiar.
Yes, thank you, King.
There was, someone made a sign, I think it was in Montreal, where it was an English name. They wanted to name their store something English. Because here, I can go to Bangladesh Bay, or, other languages have their names on the thing. They were taken to court and told that they had to change it to a French name because of the law. But nowhere else in Canada is that strict. Nowhere else in Canada, because it's protecting their language or something.
Right.
Their heritage.
But an only English-speaking person might have a hard time navigating around that area.
Montreal has both, if I remember correctly. But you would have an easy time. It's a tourist. They have been more into tourists. It's where Just for Laughs is. They've got a big tourist trade there, so I could see there being a lot of. You could find someone who speaks English. Like I said, I listened to nerdy crafter. She lives in Montreal. She speaks perfect English. She speaks French. She also speaks Egyptian because she's actually Egyptian originally.
Oh, wow. That's interesting.
So like there are people there that speak French or speak English because at this day and age, you need to speak English. You
It's
can't
pretty
get
much
around
everywhere.
it, so, but yeah. Why do I?
Wow, I've learned so much. I've learned so much about Canada today.
Welcome to Canada, eh? I'll tell you about it, eh?
Yeah, can you when you sign off today? Can you please sign off with your Canadian accent?
I can sure try for you. I was actually thinking of just calling it here. We've been on for 2 hours and 46 minutes, and I need to go edit a video. I'm still working on my video for tomorrow, so I think we should call it here. And I also have to use the washroom. I was smart. I didn't have my pot of tea, so I don't have to use the washroom like I normally do, which is like halfway through the stream. I have to go pee like real bad.
Take a break.
Yeah. That's a whole pot of tea, man. It's a lot of tea.
That's a lot. Yeah, that's a lot of liquid. Yeah.
You gotta go somewhere.
Man. Well, thank you for giving me all these facts about HVAC, Canada, Japan,
languages.
Language. Your school tormentors.
Oh god, I could go over those. I try not to touch that too much. And we all have our. No one grew up in a bubble. We all have our own things that have gone in our life.
Yes.
And I think the most important thing that we can do is try to grow from them.
Exactly.
That's all I can do.
Yeah, thanks again for having me on. I appreciate it.
You're welcome. Maybe I'll have you as an official guest one day.
Yeah, because people are gonna click on and go, okay, yeah, King Cadaver. What's going on?
I think I'm about to go change the thumbnail real quick and just fix everything a little bit. But it's not a big deal. I mean, everyone that's here understands what happened. Yeah. Shit happens. We all have technical difficulties. There's ghosts in the machines. One of them might be hair raising. And not everything goes according to plan. So there's no point of fretting over it.
Yeah, go ahead.
I was just going to want to say thank everyone for coming and joining me for our tea this lovely Saturday morning. Or evening, for some people.
Mm-hmm.
And thank you, Hair Raising, for joining me randomly.
You're welcome.
All right, I'll try to do the Canadian accent. Hold on.
Yes, please.
It's hard to do on purpose. It's a subconscious thing I do a lot as a joke.
Well, I can't tell what's a good and a fake or not good accent. So.
Let me see. I hope you all have a good night. Nope, that was American. Yep. I'm sorry. I'm gonna fail. I'm too much on pressure now. Tell me booted, eh? I hope you all have a good one, eh? This is good we're gonna get. Have a good day, guys. Bye.
Bye.